Together, 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 everyone. Together, together, come on, let's have some fun. Together, we're there for each other every time. Together, together, come on, let's do this right.
Here and now, it's time for celebration. I finally figured out,
Yeah, yeah,
that all our dreams have no limitations. That's what it's all about.
come on now.
Everyone special in their own way. We make each other strong.
We make each other strong.
We're not the same.
We're different in a good way.
Together's where we belong.
We're all in this together. Once we know that we are, we're all stars, and we see that we're all in this together. And it shows when we stand hand in hand, make our dreams come true. Come on, everybody now.
Together,
All.
together,
All.
together,
Everyone,
together,
All.
together.
All.
Come on, let's
have some fun. All.
together,
All.
therefore,
All.
each other
Every time. All.
together,
All.
together.
Come on, let's do this right. Yeah.
Speaking out with
One voice.
We're gonna rock the house.
Rock the house.
The party's on.
Oh.
Everybody make some noise. Come on, now scream and shout.
We've
Alright.
arrived because we stuck together.
Yeah.
Champions one and all.
We're all in this together. Once we know that we are, we're all stars, and we see that we're all in this together. And it shows when we stand hand in hand, make our dreams come. We're all in this together. When we reach, we can fly, go inside, we can make it. We're all in this together. Once we see there's a chance that we have, and we take it. Wildcats, sing along. Yeah, you really got it going on. Wildcats in the house. Everybody saying now. Wildcats everywhere. Wave your hands up in the air. That's the way we do it. Let's get to it. Time to show the world.
There they are, the cast of Harrington Stage Company High School.
Now that's a very unusual hat. I wonder what could be under a hat such as that. It could be a creature they call a gazette, who balances things on its head because it's flat. Or a stripe-loving pipester from Upper Mount Bat. Or a sort of a kind of a hat-wearing cat.
I can see that you've got quite a mind for your age. Why, one think and you've dragged me right onto the stage. Now I'm here. There's no telling what may ensue. With a cat such as me and a thinker like you. Oh, the things you can think. Oh, the things you can think if you're willing to try. Think invisible ink, or a gink with a sink, or a stare to the sky. If you open your mind, oh, the things you will find lining up to get loose. Oh, the things you can think when you think about Zeus. 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 Zeus, 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 Zeus. Oh, the things you can think, any thinker who thinks can come up with a few. Oh, the things you can think. Take a trip on a ship to the River of It or to Solid Saloon.
Think a beautiful schlock with a cherry on top.
You don't need an excuse.
Oh, the things you can think.
When you think about Zeus, 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 Zeus,
Think.
Elephant up in a tree.
Think.
Think of a bird with a one-feathered tail.
going on adventure down a dangerous trail.
Think of the bird
trouble in store.
Think of something horrible and hairy, something sinister and scary that you never dared to think of before.
Think of nobody here and the feeling of fear and the darkness of night. Ooh. All alone in your room as you're facing your doom.
Think a glimmer of life.
Ah,
But I hope you're prepared to be scareder than scared.
'cause the same mother goose.
Danger's right on the brink.
When you think about Seuss, 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 Seuss.
An unusual story will soon be unfurled of an elephant trying to save a small world and a boy from that world who has things just like you.
Just think.
And the smallest of small.
In the jungle of Nool. You think and 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 think. Just think. Oh, the things you can think and wonder and dream far and wide as you dare.
Oh, the things you can think.
When your things have run dry in the blink of an eye, there's another thing there. If you open your mind, oh, the things you will find lining up to get loose. Oh, the things you can think. 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 When you think about Seuss. When you think about Seuss. When you think about Seuss. Seuss, 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 Seuss.
What's that song you were playing? It's really good.
Oh, you really like it? I wrote it last week, but I figured we could sing it in the talent show.
Play it again, Kelsey.
You know the words once upon a time make you listen. There's a reason. When you dream, there's a chance you'll find a little laughter or happy ever after.
You're a harmony to the melody that's echoing inside my head.
A single
Single
voice above the
noise and like a common thread. You're pulling me.
When I hear my favorite song, I know that we belong.
Oh, you are the music in me. Yeah, it's living in all of us.
And it's brought us here because you are the music in me. Na 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 na, na 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 na, na 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 na.
You are the music in me.
Na 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 na, na 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 na, na 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 na. You are the music in me.
It's like I knew you before we met. Can't explain. There's no name for it. I sang your words I never said, and it was easy because you see the real me.
And you understand, and that's more than I've ever known.
To hear your voice above the noise, and know I'm not alone. Oh, you sing it to me.
When I hear my favorite song, I know that we belong. You are the music in me. It's living in all of us, and it's brought us here because you are the music in me.
Together we're gonna sing. We got the power to say what we feel.
Can't keep it all inside. When I hear my favorite song, I know that we belong. You are the music in me. It's living in all of us, and it's brought us here because you are the music in me. Na 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 na, na 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 na, na 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 na. You are the music in me. Na 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 na, na 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 na, na 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 na. You are the music in me. When you dream, there's a chance you'll find
a little laughter,
or happy ever after.
you are the music in me.
And so it came to pass, all that seemed wrong was now right. The kingdoms were filled with joy, and those who deserved it were certain to live a long and happy life. Ever after, journey over, all is mended, and it's not just for today, but tomorrow and extended. Ever after, all the curses have been ended, the reverses wiped away, all is tenderness and laughter for forever after.
Happy now and happiness and happy ever after.
There were dangers
We were frightened,
and confusions,
but we did it.
and the paths would often swerve.
We did not.
There were constants
It's amazing,
and illusions,
and we did it.
but they never lost their nerve.
Not lost,
and we reached the right conclusions.
And we got what we deserve. Not starting, not sorrow, tenderness and laughter. Joy today and bliss tomorrow and forever after.
I was greedy, I was vain, I was haughty, smug, we were happy, it was fun, we were blind, and we went to the woods to get our wish, and now we're really blind.
I was perfect. I had everything but beauty, I and power, and a daughter like a flower in a tower. Then I went to the woods to get my wish, and now I'm ordinary. We're unworthy, we're unhappy now, unhappy as well as ever after. Happy as our common sense, been worthy of our discontent to be happy, and forever you will see your wish come true. Don't be careful, don't be clever, when you see your wish pursue. It's a dangerous endeavor, but the only thing to do. Though it's fearful, though it's deep, though it's dark, and though you may lose the path, though you may go slow. Though it's deep, you'll dark, and though you may lose the path, you may go slow. You mustn't stop, you mustn't stop, you wish, you wish. You can have your wish, but you can't just wish not to get your wish. Go into the woods where nothing's clear, where witches, ghost symbols appear. Into the woods and through the fear, you have to take the journey. Into the woods and down the dell, in vain perhaps, but who can tell?
Into the woods to live the spell,
Into the woods to lose the longing,
in the woods to have the
to
child,
wake the prince,
to get the money,
to save the house,
to kill the wolf,
to find the father,
to conquer the kingdom,
to have, to wed, to get, to save, to kill, to keep, to go to the festival, into the woods,
into the woods,
into the woods, and out of the woods.
to be continued.
And happy ever after.
Come on, everybody, and clap your hands right now. Come on, everybody, take a real deep breath and repeat after me. I love my baby.
Loving my baby.
I love my baby.
Loving my
Hey,
baby.
hey, and my baby loves me.
My baby loves me.
Come on, everybody, and whistle this tune right now.
Come on, everybody, and stomp your feet real loud. Come on, everybody, take a real deep breath and repeat after me. I love my baby.
Loving my baby.
I love my baby.
Loving my
Hey,
baby.
hey, and my baby loves me.
My baby loves me.
Well, there ain't nothing wrong with that long-haired music like Brahms, Beethoven, and Bach. But I was raised with a guitar in my hand, and I was born to rock. Well,
Come on, everybody, and turn your heads to the left.
come on, everybody, and turn your heads to the right. Come on, everybody, take a real deep breath and repeat after me. I love my baby.
Loving my baby.
I love my baby.
Loving my
Hey,
baby.
hey, and my baby loves me. everybody, and turn your heads to the right. Whoa, 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 come on everybody, take a real deep breath and repeat after me.
Yeah.
I love my baby.
Loving my baby.
I love my baby.
Loving my baby.
Hey, hey, and my baby loves. Hey, 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 and my baby loves.
My baby. Hey, hey, hey. Yeah.
Hey, 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 and my baby loves me.
Loving my baby.
My baby loves.
Loving my baby.
Hey, 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 and my baby loves me. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. No one says no to Gaston. Dismissed, rejected, publicly humiliated. Oh, it's more than I can bear.
Gosh, it disturbs me to see you, Gaston, looking so down in the dumps. Every guy here likes to be you, Gaston, even when taking your lumps. There's no man in town as admired as you. You're everyone's favorite guy. Everyone's awed and inspired by you, and it's not very hard to see why. No one's been like Gaston, a kingpin like Gaston. No one's got a swell cleft in his chin like Gaston.
As a specimen, yes, I'm intimidating.
My, what a guy, that Gaston. Give 5 hurrahs, give 12 hip hips. Gaston is the best and the rest is all drips. No one fights like Gaston, bows his lights like Gaston. In a wrestling match, nobody bites like Gaston.
When there's no one as burly and brawny.
As you see, I've got biceps to spare.
Not a bit of them scraggly or scrawny.
That's right, and every last inch of me's covered with hair.
No one hits like Gaston, matches wits like Gaston. In a spitting match, nobody spits like Gaston.
I'm especially good at expectorating. Dewey!
10 points for Gaston.
When I was a lad, I ate 4 dozen eggs every morning to help me get large.
Oh.
And now that I'm grown, I eat 5 dozen eggs, so I'm roughly the size of a barge.
Wow! My, what a guy, that Gaston. Shout, enough, I'm done. Then we'll sing you off to sleep as you die.
at 20. But who cares? No big deal. I want more. When's it my turn? Wouldn't I love to explore that sha-la-la-la out of the sea? Wish I could be part of that world.
My dear sweet child, it's what I live for. To help unfortunate merfolk like yourself. I admit that in the past I've been a nasty. They weren't kidding when they called me, well, a witch. But you'll find that nowadays I've mended all my ways. Repented, seen the light, and made a switch. True, yes. And I fortunately know a little magic. It's a talent that I always have possessed. And here lately, please don't laugh. I use it on behalf of the miserable, lonely, and depressed. Come on, you poor unfortunate soul. Go ahead, make your choice. I'm a very busy woman and I haven't got all day. It won't cost much, just your voice. You poor unfortunate soul. It's sad, but true. If you want to cross a bridge, my sweet, you've got to pay the toll. Take a gulp and take a breath. Go ahead, achieve your goal. Flotsam, jetsam. Now I've got a boys. The boss is on a roll. You poor unfortunate soul. The human world, it's a mess. Life under the sea is better than anything they got up there. The seaweed is always cleaner than somebody else's lake. You dream about going up there, but that is a big mistake. Just look at the world around you, right here on the ocean floor. Such wonderful things surround you. What more is you looking for? Under the sea, under the sea, where feed us, fry us, and eat us in fricassee. We want the land folks love to cook. Under the sea, we off the hook. We got no troubles. Life is no bubbles under the sea. The newt played the flute, the carp played the harp, the plate played the bass, sound the sharp, the bass played the brass, the drum played the drum. Is the Duke of Soul, the reggae played the lead on the strings, round rocking out the blackfish sings, melt down the track, they know where it's at, and oh, that blowfish blow. Oh, under the sea, under the sea, when the sardines begin to begin, it's music to me. What do they got? A lot said. We got a conversation. Each little snail here know how to whale. That's why it's hotter under the water. Yeah, we in luck, and that is the luck, yeah. Under the sea.
Ladies and gentlemen, I present the never-to-be-counted-out Tracy Turnblad.
You can't stop an avalanche as it races down the hill. You can try to stop the seasons, girl, but you know you never will. And you can try to stop my dancing feet, but I just cannot stand still. 'Cause the world keeps spinning round and round. My heart's keeping time to the speed of sound. I was lost till I heard the drums, then I found my way. 'Cause you can't stop the beat. The whole world began. Woman found that it's so I'm gonna shake and shake the best that I can today. Stop the motion of the sun in the sky. You can wander if you wanna, but I never ask why. And if you try to hold me down, I'm gonna spit in your eye and say, you can't stop the beat. What do you have to say, Penny? I am now a checkerboard chick. You can't stop a river as it rushes to the sea. You can try to stop the hands of time, but you know it just won't be. And if
round and round, and my heart's ticking time to the speed of sound. I was lost till I heard the drums and I found my way. 'Cause you can't stop the beat.
Amber, this is my dance, and it's dedicated to everybody. So come on.
Come on, come on. Ever since we first saw the light, a man and woman like to shake it on a Saturday night. So I'm gonna shake and shimmy it with all my might today. You can't stop the motion of the ocean, all the rain from above. You can try to stop the paradise we're dreaming of, but you can't stop the rhythm of two hearts in love. You say you can't stop the beat. You can't stop the beat. You can't stop the beat. Tracy.
Mama, we did it. We're on national television.
National television? America! I made this myself. You can't stop my happiness as it's speeding down the track.
Now yesterday's history, and it's never coming back.
And tomorrow is a brand new day, and you don't know why I'm black. 'Cause the world keeps spinning round and round. My heart's keeping time to the speed of sound. I was lost till I heard the drums, and I found my way. You can't stop the beat. Come on, keep my tussles going, shake your fatty muscles. Yes, you can. Yes, you can.
Ever since we first saw the sun, my hustle girls are always trying to please someone, and now we're gonna shake and shimmy and have some fun today. You can't stop the
Ocean, on the ocean, all the rain from above. You can try to stop the paradise we're dreaming of, but you can't. That's not the rhythm of your heart's in love to say. You can't stop the beat. You can't stop the beat. You can't stop the beat.
Good morning, birds. Good morning, trees. Oh, what a lovely day. The sun's so big it hurts my eyes, but really, that's okay. A brand new day with things to do. So many plans to make. I've had 6 cups of coffee, so I'm really wide awake. I've always been a morning person, a morning girl.
Oh man, what could be better than this?
Why me?
Sing a song.
Why
hit
me?
The train.
A simple answer
It's the way
would be
to
fine.
get around.
Before
you
someone
know it,
please
you
send
make
me
round
a
with
sign.
me.
What
And I
did
know all I
do
need
to deserve this
He's a bath in a bath in a
honestly?
song, so I'm
This
singing.
ass of mine is asinine. Why am I with you?
Listen up, ogre. It's time to stop the hiding. It's time to stand up tall. Say, hey world, I'm different. And here I am, staying breath and all. Stay breath and all. Let your freak flag wave. Let your freak
Let your freak flag wave. Let your freak flag fly. Never take it down, never take it down. Raise it way up high.
Don't you see, Shrek? You deserve a happy ending. Even if you are mean and big and surly. But that's what makes you you. It's your badge, your banner, your flag.
Never take it down. Raise it way up high.
Raise it up way high.
We've got magic. We've got power. Who are they to say we're all the things that make us special?
Go, Mom.
All the things that make us strong. What makes us special? What makes us special?
Makes us strong. Let your freak flag wave. Let your freak flag fly. Never take it down. Raise it way up high. Yeah. Let your freak flag fly. Fly. Fly, fly,
I'm green, I'm mean. Get used to it.
Oh, that was an
incredible.
Absolutely
Unbelievable.
amazing performance by some very talented kids in theater company. And as a surprise,
Everybody look around, cause there's a reason to rejoice, you see. Everybody come out, and let's commence the singing joyfully.
Everybody look up and find the hope that we've been waiting on.
Everybody's glad, because the silent fear and dread is gone.
Freedom, you see, has got our hearts singing so joyfully.
Just look about.
You owe it to yourself to check it out.
Can't you feel a brand new day? Ha! Can't you feel a brand new day? Can't you feel a brand new day? Can't you feel a brand new day? Woo! Ha! Oh yeah! Everybody be glad, because the sun is shining just for us. Everybody wake up to the morning into happiness.
Hello, world! It's like a different way of living now. Thank you, world! We always knew that we'd be free somehow.
Show the world that we've got liberty. It's such a change for us to live so we he's on down, 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 he's on down the road.
May I have your attention, please? Attention, please. I can deal with the trouble, friends, with a wave of my hand, this very hand. Please observe me, if you will. I'm Professor Harold Hill, and I'm here to organize a River City Boys Band. Brrrah. Oh, think, my friends, how could any pool table ever hope to compete with a gold trombone? Ra, 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 da, 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 ra, ra. Remember, my friends, what a handful of trumpet players did to the famous, fabled walls of Jericho. Oh, billiard parlor walls come a-tumbling down. Oh, a band'll do it, my friends. Oh, yes, I said a boys' band. Do you hear me? I say River City gotta have a boys' band, and I mean she needs it today. Well, Professor Harold Hill's on hand. River City's gonna have her boys' band. As sure as the Lord made little green apples, and that band's gonna be in uniform. Johnny, Willie, Teddy, Fred. And you'll see the glitter of crashing cymbals, and you'll hear the thunder of rolling drums, and the shimmer of trumpets. Tantara! And you'll feel something akin to the electric thrill I once enjoyed when Gilmore, Liberati, Pat Conway, the great Creator, W.C. Handy, and John Philip Sousa all came to town on the very same historic day. 76 trombones led the big parade, with 110 cornets close at hand. They were followed by rows and rows of the finest virtuosos, the cream of every famous band. 76 trombones caught the morning sun, with 110 cornets right behind. There were more than 1,000 reeds springing up like weeds. There were horns of every shape and kind. There were copper-bottomed timpani and horse platoons, thundering, thundering all along the way. Double bell euphoniums and big bassoons, each bassoon having his big fat say. There were 50 mounted cannon in the battery, thundering, thundering louder than before. Clarinets of every size and trumpeters who'd improvise a full octave higher than the score.
76 trombones hit the counterpoint, while 110 cornets blaze away. To the rhythm of march, 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 all the kids began to march, and they're marching still right today. Did he pin the pin on? Or was he too shy? Well, I heard they got pinned. I was hoping they would. Now they're living at last, going steady for good.
Oh, Mr. Hankel, this is Harvey Johnson. Can I speak to Penelope?
Is it true about Kim?
Penelope?
I just knew it somehow.
Oh, about the prom?
I must call her right up.
Saturday?
I can't talk to you now.
Going steady.
No, it can't.
Going steady.
Crazy man.
Going steady.
No, it.
Going steady.
No, it can't.
Going steady.
Crazy man.
Going steady.
Going steady for
One boy, one special boy, one boy to go with, to talk with and walk with. One boy, that's the way it should be.
That's the way it should be.
One day you'll find out this is what life is all about. You need someone who is living just for you. One boy, one steady boy, one boy to be with forever and ever. One boy, that's the way it should be. That's the way it should.
Gray skies are gonna clear up. Put on a happy face. Brush off those clouds and cheer up. Put on a happy face. Take off the gloomy mask of tragedy. It's not your style. You look so good that you'll be glad you decided to smile. Pick out a pleasant outlook. Stick out that noble chin. Wipe off that full of doubt look. Slap on a happy grin. And spread sunshine all over the place. Just put on a happy face.
We love you, Conrad. Oh, yes, we do. We love you, Conrad, and we'll be true. When you're not near us, we're blue. Oh, Conrad, we love you.
Lots of dates and no one to scold you. Loop the loop and laugh at the view.
Moonlight swims and someone to hold you. We've got a lot of living to do. Wow!
There's music to play, places to go, people to see. Everything
Oh, yeah!
for you and me.
Rise above, if only you know it. And it's all just waiting for you. You're alive, so come on and show it. We've got a lot of living, such a lot of living. What a lot of living to do.
keep your big, bright, beautiful world. I party on my own anyway, doing what I can with a one-man conga line. Sure, I'm fated to be lonely and I'm destined to be hated. If you read the books, they say it's why I was created, but I don't care, 'cause being liked is grossly overrated.
Are you there, God? It's me, Fiona. It's me, Fiona. Now I know he'll appear, 'cause there are rules and there are strictures. It won't be long now, I guarantee. I know it's today. I know it's today. I know it's today. I know it's today. I know it's today.
I thought love was only true in fairy tales, meant for someone else but not for me.
Oh yeah.
Love was out to get me, that's the way it seems. Disappointment haunted all my dreams. And then I saw her face.
I saw her face.
Now I'm a believer.
I saw her face.
Not a trace
No, not a trace.
of doubt in my mind.
In my mind, I believe. I believe. I believe.
Support for PCTV's virtual 4th of July coverage comes from Berkshire Bank, where all wallets are welcome, proudly supporting the 4th of July parade. Life is exciting. Let us help. Member FDIC. Car Hardware, always here for our community since 1928. Online at carhardware.com. The Berkshire United Way, here for good. Online at berkshireunitedway.org. Berkshire Property Managers, experienced, reliable, local. 413-499-5905 and online at berkshirepropertymanagers.org. And Greylock Federal Credit Union. Opportunity grows here. Online at greylock.org.
COVID-19 continues to evolve globally and rapidly.
The outbreak and the impact of concerns over the spread are already being felt by everyone.
This is the open meeting of the Pittsfield City Council and is being conducted remotely, consistent with Governor Baker's executive order.
The number of students that might withdraw because we were in this.
The Pittsfield Parade Committee announced the cancellation of this year's 4th of July parade.
The Pittsfield 4th of July Parade. Like many events in 2020 that we look forward to and cherish, the 4th of July Parade has been canceled due to the coronavirus. But every day the sun rises, and like the sun, through financial issues, changes in leadership, the sun will rise again on the Pittsfield 4th of July Parade.
Financial woes could end the 4th of July parade. I'm Tom Conklin for the Berkshire News Network on 1420 WBEC.
I think if you scale back the parade, people are going to sense that there's something wrong.
Right.
And is that what's going to put the parade into a death spiral?
The parade is such a major event that brings the community together, and we would hate to lose it. So we really should do anything we can do to help.
The organizers behind the annual Pittsfield, Massachusetts 4th of July parade say the tradition stretches back to as early as 1824. But this year, the beloved event has hit financial straits.
This is the year that we need to rebuild the coffers. There are no coffers for next year.
So in 2019, we had like 3 or 4 bad fundraising years to come up to 2019. And so we put out the plea to the people of Pittsfield and Berkshire County that if we didn't have a banner fundraising year, 2019 could be the last parade. We had a group of individuals come forward and create a brand new fundraising event for us called Rock the 4th.
We always enjoyed the parade, and we didn't want to see it go away. Our kids love it. All the kids around usually love it.
And the community came out and had wild support and just kept donating and donating and donating. And we had a very successful fundraising year to put us back on track and put us in a very secure financial position.
2019 wasn't the first time the parade was in danger of going away, and it certainly wasn't the first time the community rallied together to save their parade. The 4th of July parade in Pittsfield was held sporadically in the early part of the 1900s, alternating between large, massive parades and quiet 4th of July celebrations. Justin Aubrey and a committee run through the Chamber of Commerce put on massive parades in 1941 and 42, but there were no parades held between 1943 and 1946 as the United States became mired in World War II. In 1946, the Pittsfield Permanent Fire Department came up with a plan that greatly excited Mayor James Fallon. Starting in 1947, they would spearhead a parade which would culminate with an annual fireman's muster at Wacona Park. And boy, did the lofty plans of the fire department come to pass. Pittsfield's 4th, greatest in history, proclaimed the Berkshire Evening Eagle on July 5, 1947. An estimated crowd of 25,000 people lined the streets for the parade that clocked in at 56 minutes, featuring floats, bands, marching units, and much more. 6 planes in V formation roared down North Street to signal the beginning of the parade, which began with a police platoon, followed by Grand Marshal Sheriff J. Bruce McIntyre on horseback. The community was thrilled to honor Captain James M. Burt of Lee, who was Berkshire County's only Congressional Medal of Honor winner at that time, as he marched in the 1st Division. The impressive train float depicting the joys of living in a well-lit western Massachusetts took home first prize for best float. And after the parade, most made their way to Wacona Park for an afternoon of entertainment to watch 10 fire departments, some of them from the Berkshires, some from neighboring Connecticut, compete in a fireman's muster at Wacona Park. This was the first muster to be held in Pittsfield since 1916. The next day, the editorial section of the Berkshire Evening Eagle thanked the Pittsfield smoke eaters, proclaiming there is probably not a youngster in the city who didn't say it was the best parade ever, and not many of the older generation would disagree. The parade grew even bigger in 1948, drawing close to 30,000 people. Police Chief Thomas H. Coleman said Pittsfield streets had never seen such jam-packed throngs, with crowds as many as 20 deep through some parts of the parade. Canaan, Connecticut again won the Gold Cup at the Firemen's Muster, but their victory may have been upstaged by the impressive equipment brought by the Lee Fire Department when they brought their Water Witch. The Water Witch, made back in 1856, was one of the oldest pieces of fire equipment in the state. The 1949 parade drew an even larger crowd, but the parade was slowed by record heat as the temperature marched north of 90 degrees. It was called the hottest 4th of July in the 11-year history of the local weather station. 1955 was even hotter, as the festivities were marred by 37 people being overcome by heat, and 9 more injured when the rotating steel arm of the Rollo plane ride snapped, sending one of the cars to the ground. All 9 survived. Despite the issues in 1955, the parade and fire muster ran year in, year out with an ever-growing crowd. The 1971 parade drew over 40,000 people, another brutally hot day that, according to the Berkshire Eagle, at least one person from almost every drum corps succumbed to the heat. And despite the heat, the record crowd enjoyed the floats, bands, fire departments, and the newest entry in the 4th of July parade, an impressive fleet from nearby Eastover Resort, featuring horses, an old fire hose on wheels dating back to 1839, a Lennox steamer from 1861, and a huge birthday cake float celebrating the resort's 25th anniversary. The 4th of July parade, coinciding with our nation's bicentennial, was the largest, topping 60,000 people, not counting the thousands of people who were in the 100-unit parade. The Berkshire Eagle called it an extravaganza of superlatives, the biggest, longest, best-attended parade in Pittsfield history. An impressive float honoring Florence Nightingale, with nurses dressed in uniforms from the 19th and 20th centuries, won first prize for the Alumni Association of the Henry W. Bishop III Memorial and St. Luke's Schools of Nursing, and Eastover Resort brought another impressive contingent.
Well, Eastover was an integral part of the Pittsfield Parade back in the the early to mid 1970s. But George Bisacca, who was the head of Eastover at the time, up until his death in 1983, he was insistent on getting into the parade, and he actually created a parade within the parade. He had the Mayflower ship. He had the paddle wheel boat, the Robert E. Lee. He had a train and a whole bunch of miscellaneous parts. Eastover was like that. Everything about it was entertaining. I read a letter to the editor of the Berkshire Eagle in 1976 from a young person who said in their 12 years of existence, the best parts of the parade they found began only a few years before, in 1972, with the entrance of Eastover into the Pittsfield Parade.
The Whately Fire Muster team dominated the fire muster at Wacona Park for the second year in a row. The young squad from Franklin County seemed poised to become a dynasty at the annual event at Wacona Park. Little did the over 60,000 parade enthusiasts in attendance, the young, seemingly unbeatable Whately Fire Muster team, the 1,000 parade participants, and the impressive Eastover contingent know financial troubles and burnout threatened to make this the final parade. 1 month later, the Pittsfield Fire Department voted by a 2-to-1 margin to end the 4th of July parade. Fire Captain Robert Villanova said, "The high cost of everything is what led to its demise." Insurance costs had doubled. The costs of musical entertainment had tripled in the past few years. A second vote was taken by the fire department in February of 1977 after the city council and others who loved the parade implored the fire department to reconsider. But on Friday, February 25, 1977, the fire department again voted to end the parade by a 2-to-1 margin. Thomas Maloney, president of the Pittsfield Permanent Firemen's Association, said that while the city council asked them to reconsider, they did not offer any kind of help. The Pittsfield 4th of July parade was dead, or at the very least, on life support. Eastover, whose parade entries on their own were impressive, was asked by City Councilor Peter Arlos to be the sponsor of the 1977 parade in Pittsfield. But George Bisacca decided that sponsoring the parade would be a big chore. Eastover decided to hold their own parade in their hometown of Lenox in 1977. The parade itself lasted over an hour with over 60 floats. The event was attended by over 15,000 people. It seemed Lenox had taken the baton from Pittsfield and was ready to become the place to be in the Berkshires for the 4th of July. But Pittsfield wasn't ready to give up the crown so quickly, as a new group was getting together to try to take back the 4th.
I was in the room in the basement at the American Legion Hall when that committee first met. So I sat in that meeting, and I happened to know Mr. Quagliati, who was the director of the Berkshire Pom Poms Drum Corps that I participated in, was there. And we listened through the meeting, and they wanted to form committees, and they asked about the music committee, and Mr. Q said, I'll handle the music committee. And then he leaned over to me and said, you want to be on the committee with me? And I said, sure. So that was my start with the parade.
In March of 1978, Darwin B. Whitehouse, vice commander of the American Legion, formed the Pittsfield 4th of July Parade Committee, Inc., with the motto, Think 4th of July, it will melt the snow. The committee set up shop in a central location at 148 North Street, and sure enough, on July 4th, 1978, the parade went off without a hitch. Fire Department Lieutenant Ralph Decker was the Grand Marshal, and Americanism was the theme. The order of the parade being printed incorrectly in the Berkshire Eagle confused those following along, and especially confused parade announcer David Cohen, who was forced to rely heavily on the banners carried by the units to identify them for the crowd by their reviewing stand. In spite of that snafu, it was a massive success, with raffle proceeds sufficient to cover the cost and a turnout of over 20,000. Guy Pellegrinelli Jr. rode a moped and told Cohen to tell them next year we'll be back bigger and better. Lenox's bid to be the place to be took a hit, drawing only 6,000. While the return of the 4th of July parade was a success by most measures, there was someone in the crowd that day who thought she could take it to the next level.
Beverly's actually my aunt, so I asked her after the parade, what'd you think of the parade? And she said, oh, it wasn't too bad. And then we had a discussion about it, and I said, okay, I need you to get involved with the parade.
Beverly was a true pro, as was Jim Brassard, former city councilor, and both had a passion. Anybody who does parades has to, just as Pete Marchetti does today, has a passion for this business. She just poured her heart and soul into it.
1979 saw similar numbers for both parades. But in 1980, Pittsfield surged to 30,000 in attendance. Lenox saw the writing on the wall and decided that Pittsfield would again be the place to be for the 4th of July, leading to the return of Eastover to the Pittsfield 4th of July parade. The 1981 parade drew between 40,000 and 60,000.
When Mr. Bisacca decided to resume his entrance into the Pittsfield 4th of July parade, and again it became, once again, a crowd favorite.
We developed a great relationship with the Bisacca family. Matter of fact, Tiki, Mr. Bisacca's daughter, is still a friend of our family's. And last summer, as a matter of fact, I was at her house and we were going through some of the old pictures of all the floats they had in the parade and her memory of it. But they were actually a complete section in the parade.
The return of George Bisacca to the Pittsfield 4th of July parade was a match made in heaven. Bisacca was a larger-than-life personality and got his first taste of the pageantry and excitement of a parade when at the age of 17 he worked as a roustabout with the Ringling Brothers Barnum and Bailey Circus, traveling throughout the United States and Canada. Bisacca was a very generous man, never hesitant to contribute his money, time, and resources. By all accounts, Bisacca was down to earth. And in spite of how involved he was in the community, nobody ever knew his age. Even after his death in October of 1983, a spokesperson for the family said that not even they were sure of his age.
He absolutely loved being part of the parade and, bringing in the big train with a buffalo on it, or, he had all these, the horse units and several floats actually in the parade. So it was one big entry that was in. It was a huge part of the parade.
There was sadness about that, of course. A lot of sadness because now we couldn't enjoy the Eastover unit in the Pittsfield Parade.
While Eastover's contributions to the parade began to dwindle, the parade chugged on and continued to get bigger. Crowds of 40 to 50,000 lined the streets each year through the mid-'80s, and in 1988, a crowd of over 70,000 lined the parade route to welcome 1988 U.S. Olympic skier Heidi Volker. Just when everyone thought that the Pittsfield 4th of July parade couldn't get any bigger, the parade committee found a way. The parade was about to become a nationwide sensation.
We thought we had a pretty good parade, and we were looking to further expand it, and the idea of a broadcast was tossed around amongst our committee members. There were some committee members that at the time thought, well, why would anybody want to broadcast a parade from Pittsfield, Massachusetts? And Beverly and myself and a couple others said, well, why not?
We knew that this was going to bring us to a whole new level of viewership. It wasn't just going to be, and this is no small number, 70,000 people lining the parade route that we could count, not counting the people in their apartments. But it was going to be now people nationwide from Alaska and Hawaii and California and everywhere in the country could now, through a PBS outlet, public broadcasting system outlet, watch the Pittsfield 4th of July parade.
As I recall, the WMHT did the Pittsfield parades for in 1990, 1991, and 1992. We approached the cable company at the time to see if they were interested, and they said yes. And then we came back to them and said, well, it's going to cost $50,000. And they found the money.
With nationwide attention came bigger stars. Don Weeks of WGY led the coverage. Miss Massachusetts made an appearance. Brady White, known as Santa to the Stars. Michael Vale, who played Fred the Baker in the famous Time to Make the Donuts, Dunkin' Donuts commercial. In 1990, Olympic gymnast and actress Kathy Rigby hosted the parade. Rigby called it more meaningful than big city parades, with a sense of middle America and what America is all about. Another big name, Sherry Lewis, one of the biggest children's television stars in America at the time.
And Sherry arrived at the parade site, and we got her on the platform where the cameras were positioned, and she sat down and she had a bag with her. We didn't know really what it was, and she took out a Tupperware bowl. We thought, oh, maybe she needs a snack. Well, she opened the Tupperware bowl, and lamb chop, not the food, the puppet, lamb chop was in the Tupperware bowl, and that's where she kept lamb chop.
While the viewers at home throughout the country enjoyed the seamless broadcast, not every year went as picture perfect as it looked on TV.
We were ready to go. It was about 5 minutes to airtime. Everything blinked and went completely dark. And there was it felt like about 40 minutes of silence. It was probably 4 seconds when we realized that we didn't have any power in the broadcast truck. So we all pour out and go over to the manhole, and there's a little bit of smoke coming out of it. And we look down and this isn't good. No power, we have no generator for the truck, we don't know what to do, we're 5 minutes to air. And somebody from Pittsfield DPW comes over and looks down in the manhole and goes, well, I can take care of that. So he jumps down into the hole. There's about 6 inches of water in the bottom of this hole. He has a pair of bolt cutters, and he just cuts the power leads to our truck. And we're just looking, is this guy, he's going to fry himself.
And there was smoke coming out of the pit, you know. I mean, so I knew right away what was the problem. So I didn't have to go around and say, well, you got this, you got that there, you know. I just knew that the time was, in essence, that we only had a couple of minutes to spare.
We were back up and running in about 5 minutes. We missed about the first 7 minutes of the parade, but he got us back on the air, and we went out without a hitch.
Well, that would have been the parade. That would have been it. You know, I mean, you can't just plug it into a regular extension cord.
However, the expense of the national broadcast eventually led to the end of the national broadcast after the 1995 parade. But the end of the national broadcast did not stop the momentum. Despite the rain and clouds, the 1996 parade drew another huge crowd, with a marching contingent just as impressive, featuring Governor William Weld, Senator John Kerry, and more. However, those in attendance didn't realize that the storm clouds were a precursor for the future of the parade. On February 22, 1997, Beverly Chartier and the Pittsfield Parade Committee called it quits. Chartier said that she and the volunteers were burnt out.
She and her husband were going to retire and spend more time in Florida. They had already purchased a home in Florida and were going back and forth for a few years. And initially they thought that I would be involved with it longer, but then I got the opportunity to come out here to California and take on a new challenge. So with Beverly leaving and myself leaving, and it was a little bit challenging to keep that particular committee going.
Just days later, Mayor Ed Riley asked the City Council for $15,000 to kickstart a new parade committee. Former co-president of the parade committee, Jim Brassard, pleaded during the open mic portion on behalf of the committee's 14 co-founders, "Don't let our dream die."
Well, a number of different parade directors stepped in. Gary Grunin, former city councilor, became one of the directors of the parade. There were some people who took on the role for just a year, until finally Pete Marchetti came along.
So I started working as a corps guide back in like 1986. I would hop on the bus when the drum corps came into town, and I would travel to the schools that they were actually sleeping on the gym floors and stay with them for the entire time that they were in town. So I became president of the parade committee about 12 years ago. When the parade committee incorporated, I was their first treasurer and served for a number of years as treasurer. And then when Jim Brassard retired, I took on the role as treasurer and volunteer coordinator to run the parade. In the time frame that we were an independent 501c3 organization, we had Jane Chapman as the first president, Lou Markham as the second, Betsy Bean as the third, and when Betsy retired, I became the fourth.
The fire department did the parade for 30 years. The first iteration of the Pittsfield Parade Committee lasted for 20 years. The current parade committee has been putting on parades for 23 years. Is it fair to ask if this version of the parade committee might be burning out?
So I think we'll be around for quite a while. I think that Pittsfield wants their 4th of July parade, and the community will find a way to make it happen.
Now that we know that the Pittsfield 4th of July parade is safe for the foreseeable future, let's go back in time to the very beginning. How far back does the 4th of July parade go? As part of this documentary, our researchers tried to track the parade back as far as possible. The Pittsfield Parade Committee says it goes back as far as 1824, and we were able to prove that with the July 8, 1924 edition of the Pittsfield Sun. However, there is evidence that it goes back to 1812. George Holcomb, a resident of Stephentown, New York, mentions in his diary that on July 4, 1812, an Independence Day parade in Pittsfield Village was attended by all Washingtonian members walking in the procession. Holcomb was a member of the Washington Society of Hancock and was known for his incredibly detailed diary. Well, we are able to prove that to be true also. The July 11th, 1812 edition of the Pittsfield Sun writes about a parade that stepped off at noon with Captain Oliver Root leading the way as the marshal. In fact, we found proof of a parade on the 4th of July in Pittsfield in 1811, 1810, 1809, and 1808, where the Pittsfield Sun describes the events as having unusual spirit and ardor. The term unusual gives us pause that 1808 would be the end of our journey, but there is evidence that a parade was held in 1807. In fact, we are able to trace the parade all the way back to 1801. In describing the events of the 1801 4th of July parade and celebration, once again, the Pittsfield Sun uses the word unusual. Although we can't prove the existence of a parade beyond 1801, it seems fairly likely that the Pittsfield 4th of July parade extends even further back. Nowadays, after the parade, people return to their homes or head to 4th of July cookouts. But that was not the case in the earlier days of the parade. Back then, the citizens of Pittsfield would enjoy the parade, then make their way to the meeting house for a prayer given by Reverend Thomas Allen, hearing a reading of the Declaration of Independence, and several speeches were made. Then they would all make their way to a ball that would feature dinner and music. In 1801, the citizens retired to Captain Jonathan Allen's store on North Street. In 1802, they went to Captain Jane's. In 1803, the festivities were held at Mr. Merrick's Tavern and continued there until ugly political divisions reared their heads in 1808. Merrick's Tavern was located where the 7 North Street building is now. Mr. Merrick was a Federalist, and in 1808, he decided not to allow Democrats on the premises. So after some protest, they decided to have their meal on the property of Captain Ingersoll's. Captain Ingersoll's property was described as stunning and a wonderful place to hold a party. However, the celebration was marred by torrential rain. The Pittsfield Sun wrote a scathing rebuke of the denial of the Democrats. This 4th of July denial led Democrats to do their own thing and create another institution in Pittsfield history. In 1809, after the parade, they retired to William Clark's Tavern on East Street. But in 1810, they finally completed the Pittsfield Hotel, which is where the Democrats would go after the 4th of July parade. The Pittsfield Hotel was built on land sold to them by Thomas Allen for $1,600. The Pittsfield Hotel was located around where Otto's is located today. The Pittsfield Hotel would last about a decade before becoming the site of Berkshire Medical College, which opened in the hotel in 1823. During these early days of the Pittsfield 4th of July parade, the evening would end with rambunctious toasts and loud cannon fire. But the first threat to the parade came in 1821. The parade was canceled because of the Reverend Dr. Herman Humphrey, who was recruited to Pittsfield from Connecticut in 1817 to be the town's spiritual leader after Reverend Allen died in 1811. In 1821, Humphrey decided that the 4th of July should be set aside for God and as a day of prayer. The next year, the community, for the first of what would be many times over the parade's 220-year history, rallied together to overrule Dr. Humphrey and resume the parade in 1822. The Pittsfield 4th of July parade, in existence since at least 1801, through political fights, religious disagreements, financial issues, volunteer burnout, and much more, the Pittsfield 4th of July parade continues to persevere. How does this parade continue to survive?
What I would say is that over the span of the time frame that I've been, there's been a lot of great people who have been part of the parade committee. It saddens us to think about all the people that have gone before us, but everybody that's been involved in the parade committee, no matter what their role is. And I have been trying to get away from being the face of the parade. Everyone goes, oh, well, Peter Marchetti, he's the face of the parade. You know, I'm only as good as the 50 volunteers that are behind me.
Support for PCTV's virtual 4th of July coverage comes from Berkshire Bank, where all wallets are welcome, proudly supporting the 4th of July parade. Life is exciting. Let us help. Member FDIC. Car Hardware, always here for our community since 1928. Online at carhardware.com. The Berkshire United Way, here for good. Online at berkshireunitedway.org. Berkshire Property Managers, experienced, reliable, local. 413-499-5905 and online at berkshirepropertymanagers.org. And Greylock Federal Credit Union. Opportunity grows here. Online at greylock.org.
Welcome to the Pittsfield Parade Looks Back, celebrating over 3 decades of live parade television coverage in the heart of the Berkshires, our beloved Pittsfield, Massachusetts. PCTV, Pittsfield's public, education, and government access organization, is honored to work with the Pittsfield Parade Committee to share this look at beloved parade memories from our coverage of parades dating back to 1988. Together, we will look at some of our favorite memories from more than 30 years of programming and get a chance to once again see those tall balloons, beautiful floats, talented bands, local dignitaries, and plenty of parade excitement. Host of the Pittsfield Parade Looks Back, Pittsfield Parade Committee President Peter Marchetti.
Good morning. On behalf of the Pittsfield Parade Committee and Pittsfield Community Television, I would like to wish you all a very happy 4th of July. I must say that all of us share your disappointment with the cancellation of this year's parade due to the COVID-19 pandemic. I promise you that we are already thinking and planning for Pittsfield's 2021 parade. This is not what we had in mind for the 2020 4th of July parade. As soon as it became apparent that this year's parade would not be possible, the Parade Committee and PCTV teamed up in a different way. I hope that you already enjoyed the program on the history of the parade, and I know that you will enjoy the retrospective Director's Highlights show. Developing this show with PCTV and the Parade Committee has brought back so many memories that we all have enjoyed and can be proud of. I know that this will not take the place of gathering for a live parade, but please sit back and enjoy a walk back down memory lane. I know that I will miss all of the waving of the flags and all that we see on parade morning. I will miss seeing the salute to veterans and the children's smiling faces. The adrenaline that carries all of us through the parade, watching the crowds gather and making it to the finish line will need to wait until next year. Last year, we made a plea for all of you to support the parade financially as we needed to improve our success of fundraising. You were terrific and supported our parade in a large way. We have not forgotten that and appreciate all that you did. It was our hope to provide a spectacular parade for the community that rallied behind it to save it. Unfortunately, this pandemic has dampened this year's plans, but we will return in 2021 after the pandemic is over. With all of the support that you've shown us over the years, we wanted to make sure that for those of you that normally watch the parade from your home, thanks to PCTV, you can still enjoy the memory of 4th of July parades. For those of you that would normally gather on that same spot along the parade route, we wanted to give you an ability to reflect back as well. I would like to thank PCTV and all those involved in helping to produce this program, and most of all, I would like to thank all of you for your continued support to this parade. So now, sit back and enjoy a look back at some highlights of parades that spans almost 3 decades. And from all of us, happy 4th of July, and please stay safe.
Hello, Pittsfielders. Happy 4th of July. As we know, the pandemic has brought with it remarkable changes that has impacted our most cherished traditions, including the annual 4th of July parade. It is one of our city's most time-honored and beloved community celebrations. Each year at this time, the city becomes awash in a sea of red, white, and blue. The air is filled with an abundance of goodwill and happiness. Excited parade goers line the streets, eager to see the colorful floats and ensembles make their way from South Street to Wacona Park. Indeed, it is at the parade that you will see and experience Pittsfield's deep sense of pride for our city and our country. I am so sad that we cannot be together this year. It just wouldn't be safe. I, along with so many of you, look forward to next year when we can celebrate together. In the meantime, I want to extend a heartfelt thank you to PCTV for developing special programming that will commemorate the parade and also include reflections from those who have enjoyed the parade in past years. I hope you'll tune in. To the Pittsfield Parade Committee, thank you for your steadfast commitment and dedication through the years, ensuring a magnificent event. I can't wait to see what you have in store for next year. And finally, as we take this time to reflect on the parade, let us keep in mind the sacrifices and efforts of all those past and present who work to make our nation a place where everyone has the ability to dream and live their very best lives. It is now my pleasure to introduce our national anthem, performed through the years by a range of talented performers. Have a wonderful 4th of July.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light
what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming,
whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that a flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Dick Murphy. I'm a member of the Pittsfield Parade Committee, and we're going to be talking about police and veterans and military units. And accompanying me will be...
I'm Bernie Mack. I'm a lifelong Pittsfield resident and Parade Committee member, and we're doing this televised version of the parade this year. Thank you for watching. First we have the State Police drill team, dressed in full uniform, looks like back in the 70s, with the state flag and the American flags.
They sometimes bring in older police cars too.
Okay, yes, it looks like that's what they did here. They have a State Police Harley Davidson motorcycle that recently was acquired, or at that point in the 70s was acquired by the State Police for use.
This is the Pittsfield Police.
This Pittsfield Police also has a vehicle, I guess, huh?
Yeah. Two of the older cruisers and vehicles.
And the Massachusetts Department of Corrections Honor Guard from Boston, wearing a full white glove and uniforms, carrying the flag, state flag, American flags, honoring our Massachusetts corrections officers. And
some of the cars behind them.
A couple of police cars, and then here is a local 60s vintage police
Chevrolet
Pittsfield police car.
And that's a Chrysler product right there.
Okay. Yes, that was put in by a couple of former councilmen that were able to get permission to have the parade, that in the parade for our entertainment. And the Pittsfield Police Command Center,
vehicle, correct.
which is used during police emergencies as a freestanding police station. More police motorcycle officers. Motorcycle units, exactly. I think they're pretty nice motorcycles.
Some of their other cars.
And
their honor guard, the Pittsfield Police Honor Guard.
The Police Honor Guard, all dressed in white glove, carrying all the local flags, and a marching team with Captain Riolo and Chief Riolo, rather, and Captain John O'Neill, who was the longest-serving police officer on the Pittsfield Police Force.
And I grew up with John and his sister.
All right.
Out in the Western End.
Spent 40 years on the police force. He's retiring after this parade. Berkshire County Sheriff's Department is marching in full dress uniform, carrying the state and American flags. The white gloves, looking very proper.
Some of the vehicles behind them.
So the police and county vehicles, perhaps.
Yeah.
And behind them are
there's the popsicle.
Popsicle, yes. And there's the current Chief Wynn, who is
been chief for quite a while.
He has been chief for several years.
And here we have the SRT vehicle. It's produced by Lenco right here in Berkshire County.
Lenco is a local company, yes. And again, Chief Wynn and Berkshire County Sheriff's Department, led by current sheriff, or former current sheriff, Tom Bowler. He's in a fully dress uniform with his bowler hat, or his top hat, rather. Behind these four officers, carrying the state flag, there's Tom, waving to the crowd. Looking very dapper. Got the sheriff's badge and all. Yellow vest.
Okay, we got U.S. Naval Reserve Service Unit, which used to be here in Pittsfield. And behind them is the U.S. Army Reserve, or Combat Support Company, that also used to be here in Pittsfield. Unfortunately, a lot of these reserve units are no longer in the city.
But they got four giant Hummers there.
Right.
For see the amazing size of those things.
Yeah. This is DAV Chapter 15, and they're a little miniature F-16 is what this is.
F-16, it's more, doesn't get off the ground, but it does travel well on the ground.
Yes, it does. This is part of the 94th Vehicles, the DAV Chapter 15 members. These are starting into your veterans units. And there's some Humvees that they have there.
You got a wave from the driver.
Waving at them. Okay, there we have A-10s flying out. They come out of Barnes Airfield in Westfield. They're no longer there now. They're down in Connecticut. Now they have F-15s that have flown over in the past. A little hard to get flyovers these days lately.
I think they had one recent.
Yeah. American ex-prisoners of war. These represent ex-prisoners of war. It's a
banners and flags.
Tough job to have.
Yes, yes.
And the marching.
So they're from all wars, is that correct?
Correct, yes. Mostly World War II and Korea.
Korean War?
Yeah.
Okay.
These are the Italian-American War veterans. These are U.S. Army veterans, or military, Marine Corps, whatever, but of Italian extraction. And they formed their own group. They're a local. There you go, one riding in the car.
Dalton, Italian-American there, it looked like.
Yep.
Along with the Pittsfield is Italian-American, yes.
This should be VVA Chapter 65. It was chartered in 1883, so they've been around for a little bit. There we go. And we have now Marine Corps League. You'll notice the Marine Corps flag and the American flag. And that was an old Cadillac they were flying around.
Looks like a 60s vintage Cadillac, yeah. Big fins.
There we go. We have, this should be Charles Persip, American Legion Post 68 from Pittsfield.
And in between there was John Oliver, former congressman.
Congressman, yeah, he floated on through there. There we go. There's their honor guard. and a few other veterans. The old parade moved around Park Square. Don't have that anymore.
Yeah.
Nope.
Now this is the Williamstown group?
Yep, this is the Williamstown American Legion Post, 152, out of Williamstown. Canadian flag floating around there.
Yeah.
They're coming around Park Square.
That's the memorial I was talking about. I'm not
Yeah.
sure what that was there.
This is American Legion Post 152 from Williamstown. And their little covered vehicle in the American Legion Post.
So I guess that's they were in a couple different years. It looks
Right.
like same vehicle.
Yep.
One with flags, one without.
This is Marine Corps League. Notice some Marine Corps uniforms, flag, the emblem, Iwo Jima representation.
Marines.
There you go.
Representing the
Marine
Marines'
Corps emblem right
contributions to the American.
Right.
America through the years.
Yep. These are Iran-Iraq war veterans. These are our newest veterans.
They're wearing, is that the desert uniforms?
Yep, desert
style?
camo. PAV Veterans Chapter 50. And
I recognize a few of these gentlemen as being local.
Yes, they are. These are Vietnam veterans, VDA. Vietnam veterans. These are all local people too. And they're coming around Park. You can see when they're going around Park Square. So it was a few years back.
Yeah. Iraq and Afghanistan
And
war veterans.
War veterans, yep. You know, should have Mary Verdi coming up.
Oh, there she is.
It's the back of an old 1 1/4 ton.
What the vintage, was that used in the military like in World War II or Korean
World
War?
War II right after, yeah. That's an oldie but a goodie. This is Soldier On. It's a large group that provides all kinds of services, food and housing for veterans here in this area. Here, and starting to go all over the northeast now.
Yeah, they're
Yep.
spreading out.
They're spreading way out.
They're filling needs that the veterans
Yep.
have.
And this here is Lieutenant Margaret Haggerty. She was 100 years old in this post. And that was back in 2010. And
riding in a 1939
Yep.
Mercedes-Benz
car.
Matches her outfit, the white color.
Car's almost as old as she is.
Yeah.
And then we have the Lanesboro Post, VFW Post 10338 out of Lanesboro, riding on one of their fire engines.
And apparently they organize a food pantry and an annual Memorial Day parade every year.
Right.
They're very involved in their community.
So they're very, very involved. This year should be
the Disabled American Vets.
Disabled Veterans in Pittsfield Chapter 15.
And that's a red Ford Mustang, 1965,
Yeah.
did we say?
Yeah, I think so.
I think
Thereabouts.
I think the
65,
Mustang was
66.
a half a year car, 65 and a half.
DAV chapter. There's another group for them. This here is, what is this one here? Oh, post 9566 out of Dalton. American Legion Post, 9566. In the end, it's Dalton Avenue, VFW Post. American Legion's coming up behind them. Out of Dalton. There's theirs. And here's the Dalton American Legion Post 155. Everybody's familiar with that building right up on Route 9. It's another very active American Legion post. And here they come through.
You know, as people age out, those organizations are having
Right.
difficulty maintaining.
And here we have the Jewish war veterans, which is basically the same thing as Italian. These are military veterans of Jewish extraction.
This is Lewis Green, Post 140.
Yes, that it is.
And after that is a Spirit Home Committee.
These are a bunch of motorcyclists. They're all veterans, and they handle parades, funerals. They do a lot to honor veterans. So there's a large group of them.
It is quite a group. And I think we have Mary Verdi again here.
Yeah, I think you do. At the Here at Home Committee. Here she is, singing away.
He's rousing the crowd a little bit there.
Yeah. Yes, she does. This is the new way you're going through, straight through.
Current way, yes.
And another Jewish war veterans again. And again, like I say, military veterans of Jewish extraction. Basically same thing like the Italian veterans. Soldier on again.
And they're a very good organization.
Supporting our veterans, that's their chapter. And they're all over the Northeast now. They have a big housing project here in Pittsfield.
Right, over on West Street. Yes.
Yep.
Former nursing home over there.
Yep, they do. This is Bay State West USSV-1. It's submarine veterans. And you can't see it too well, but there's a submarine back there. Kind of hard to see. And they're going through. They've been in a parade for years.
Okay. I've been on a submarine. Those things are very tight.
Yeah.
And that's something I want to spend a lot of time in.
James E. Callahan, Vietnam Veterans of America, Chapter 65, out of Berkshire County. They have also been in a parade, I think, every year that I know about.
Wow. Okay.
Year in and year out.
Very dedicated folks.
Yes, they are. So,
well, thank
that's
you,
it. Thank you, everybody.
4th of July is special to me because I get to see all the pretty floats. 4th of July is special to me because I get to watch with my friends and family. Happy 4th of July, everyone!
Hi, people. My name is Tanner White, and my favorite part of the 4th of July parade is spending time with family and just having a lot of fun. Happy 4th of July!
Hello, I'm Esther Bolin.
And I'm Courtney Bolin.
And we're here to give you a commentary about balloons and how we've been involved with them over the years and all of the wonderful things that you've all seen over the years. Right now we're looking at Droopy Dog. He came in 1992. Courtney, do you remember Droopy Dog in 1992?
No, I was only about a year old, so I'd have to say no. But I do remember the character of Droopy Dog.
You do?
So, yes.
And then we have Tenderheart Bear.
Yeah, he came out in 92 as well. Oh man, it's so interesting to see these balloons without all of the light posts in the way going down the streets, because they get to fly so much higher.
Yeah.
And next we have the Pillsbury Doughboy, who came out in 1993, which again, just such a tall balloon.
I had a lot of fun with the Pillsbury Doughboy in a previous career, and that would have been a lot of fun to see also.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And then Yogi Bear in 1994.
Mm-hmm. I love how he has his little basket. I hope that the basket was actually attached to him.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I remember the year we had, and there's our friends from Unicop.
Mm-hmm.
They always help out. Oh, we have Gumby in 1995.
Yes.
Very, very tall balloon.
Yeah, he's just, he's floating so tall as well. Like,
must have been a pretty still day.
Yep.
And the same.
Okay. Yeah. But yeah. Oh, look at that! They get him to wave. Oh, that's adorable. Then in 1995, we also had Rocky the Squirrel. Oh,
he danced a lot.
Yes, I do recall seeing that. And he does the spin around. Oh my, those spin arounds are rough. Handling a big balloon like that. All those handlers do an amazing job.
In 1996, Felix the Cat. just kind of floating. That was a kind of overcast day that year. But
Looks
Felix, nice contrast to that dark sky.
Mhm.
Oh, he's huge.
Yeah, he is massive. Wow.
Garfield.
Yes.
Also 1996.
Yes. All these wonderful, extremely tall balloons, carried by all of these amazing balloon handlers. I mean, it takes so many people to keep something that tall or any balloon that big up and going.
Oh. Mr. Potato Head. Oh, he looks like he's kind of going to lose that bow tie.
I think that's his
1998.
mustache.
Oh, a mustache.
Yeah.
Oh, well. It's also a little floppy there.
Well, I mean, it kind of makes sense. It is a Mr. Potato Head.
That's
so his mustache is removable. Looks like it is sewn in though. And then in 2000, we had Dick Tracy. I'm not 100% familiar with Dick Tracy. I know the name, but...
Movies.
Okay.
The movie must have come out around then.
Mm-hmm.
He was a pretty pleasant looking guy walking down the street.
Mm-hmm.
And it's interesting seeing the trip that they're taking.
Yeah,
Lamb
the
Chop,
different routes.
also, same year. Oh, well, without Lamb Chop, we have to have, the song.
No, we don't.
It never ends.
No, we do not need to have the song.
Oh, okay.
Because if we start singing it, it will never end.
Oh, is that what happens?
Yes.
Okay.
And then we have Mighty Mouse, who not only was here in 2001, but this balloon made its debut in Pittsfield in 1990. And this year it is carried by the Unico again.
And over the years, we've had 3 separate balloon companies. Oh. And we have American Astronaut in 2002.
Mm-hmm.
Unico again.
Yep.
They get the good balloons, it looks like.
Well, I mean, you see how many people that are needed to carry these balloons. They come out in full force, so...
And on that same patriotic theme, American Eagle balloon in 2002 also.
Mm-hmm.
Looked like a fairly warm summer day.
Mm.
Oh, it was a very warm summer day.
It was a very, very warm summer day, yeah. Oof.
Buddy Holly in 2008. Just rocking down North Street.
Mm-hmm.
Right past the reviewing stand there.
Yep. See, I just get that song stuck in my head.
Yeah.
Ooh, you like just like Buddy Holly. So that's the only part that sticks in my head.
And an Apollo 13 balloon in 2004. Oh, it was a rainy day that year.
That was a very,
That wouldn't have been a lot of fun.
Oh, it's never fun to pull a balloon down the parade route in the rain. Because that's something that I've done.
It is something that you've done.
Yeah.
And that was back when Park Square was actually a traffic circle.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have Curious George in 2007.
Mm-hmm.
And that looked like a fun balloon. Just because
that looks very fun.
Everything about Curious George is always fun.
Oh, yes. Yep. But, yeah, no, it's interesting, though, because you get onto the parade route. We spend so much time getting everything ready in the mornings. And then you get in there, and it just goes so quickly. Here we have Hello Kitty, who came out in 2008.
Doing a pirouette in Park Square.
But, yeah, you get down that parade route, and even if it's raining or extremely hot and sunny, you get on there, and that adrenaline just hits you, and you have the best time walking all the way down that route.
Angry Birds in 2013.
Mm-hmm. I think those are nice. Those are an interesting balloon too, because they're not actually tethered. They're just held up.
Yeah.
Which is, I think, one of the very few times I've seen that.
And then the Statue of Liberty, also in 2013, and that's a cold air balloon. So it was on a float more than actually being tethered like the other balloons are.
Mm-hmm.
And the parade committee got to carry a balloon that year. that's the first year I got to watch the parade in a lot of years. And then also in that year is Animal from the Muppets.
Yeah. I think he is. He's busting out of a drum. He's got his drumsticks. Yeah, these are the years where you start to see they got to be a little bit shorter now because they're going down North Street.
And the American Eagle in 2010, another rainy day.
Mm-hmm.
And he's pretty wide for our street.
He's very, very wide. I did notice that.
And Shrek in 2015.
Oh, I remember Shrek. Shrek was a fun one. Shrek was one of the taller ones and a bit difficult to navigate sometimes because his arms made him very wide.
Yeah, that was the second year that I was on the balloon street and starting to get my feet wet, obviously kind of literally there.
Okay. And then we have Super Grover from 2017. He was another one that was just thankfully he was long, not extremely tall. But with super, super long ones like that, you can't make them dance, unfortunately.
And then we have Wizard of Oz in 2004. And they were just heads bobbing down the street.
Mm-hmm.
But with their badges.
Yep.
It's very important, those
badges, yep. Lion with his badge of courage. Then you had the Tin Man. And now we have some walking balloons of the Wizard of Oz as well. Tin Man, Scarecrow, Cowardly Lion. Thankfully, Dorothy wasn't in a walking balloon as well.
Yes, that would have been difficult. And that's in 2012. Mm-hmm. And thank you very much for going down memory lane with balloons with Courtney and I. Thank you.
What the Pittsfield Parade means to me is that it brings the community together, and we're celebrating America's birthday. Happy birthday, America.
Support for PCTV's virtual 4th of July coverage comes from Berkshire Bank, where all wallets are welcome, proudly supporting the 4th of July parade. Life is exciting. Let us help. Member FDIC. Car Hardware, always here for our community since 1928. Online at carhardware.com. The Berkshire United Way, here for good. Online at berkshireunitedway.org. Berkshire Property Managers, experienced, reliable, local. 413-499-5905 and online at berkshirepropertymanagers.org. And Greylock Federal Credit Union. Opportunity grows here. Online at greylock.org.
We thought it would be a great idea to take a trip down memory lane to recognize all those elected officials that joined us over various parades. We start out in 1988 with United States Representative Silvio Conti. Representative Conti joined us for many parades going back into the early 80s, and he is no longer with us, and his funeral was right here in Pittsfield, Massachusetts at St. Joseph's Church.
Also in 1988, we have Pittsfield's first female mayor, Mayor Ann Wachowski. She's also joined here with members of her family.
And her husband served as state representative many, many years before her being mayor. 1993, we have Mayor Ed Riley. Mayor Riley was very vital in helping to save the parade in between the transition from one of the parade committees to another. Mayor Riley called a community meeting, and the community rallied behind the parade just like they did in 2019. So we thank Mayor Riley for his help.
And also in 1993, sorry about that, we had United States Senator Ted Kennedy that joined us.
And Senator Kennedy made several appearances to Pittsfield for a number of our parades, and you know, he served in the United States Senate for quite some time. In 1996, we were joined by Berkshire County Commissioners Paul Papiu, Smitty Pignatelli, and Ron Kitterman. They were being interviewed by former parade director Jim Brassard and on North Street, where the reviewing stand used to take place.
We also were joined with Sean Kelly, our state representative for 1998.
And Representative Kelly joined us for a good number of parades while he was in office, representing the 2nd Berkshire District. In 1998, we were also joined then by Governor Paul Cellucci and our very own Berkshire's Lieutenant Governor Jane Swift. And if my memory serves me correctly from the original parade footage, the announcers made the comment that we were seeing 3 people because Lieutenant Governor Swift was pregnant. Also in 1998, we were joined by City Council President Tom Hickey, Mayor Jerry Doyle, along with other members of the City Council.
And we're also seeing 2004, we're jumping ahead, and we're going to see here District Attorney Dave Capeless.
D.A. Capeless joined us for a good number of parades in his tenure. In 2005, we were joined by State Representative Chris Speranzo, who won his seat in a special election after Peter Larkin stepped down. And Representative Speranzo joined us for a good number of parades. And missed the view of the old Park Square.
And also in 2005, we have Mayor James Roberto. Joining him are Council President Jerry Lee, Councilors Lothrop, Matt Kerwood, Ward, Aunt Tyre, and Costi.
The local delegation, elected officials, is always present in our parades. In 2008, we were also joined by State Representative Dennis Geyer, State Representative Pignatelli, State Representative Chris Speranzo, and State Senator Ben Downing. They are local elected officials and state delegation join us for a good number of our parades. And there we see members of the City Council. We see Council President Jerry Lee, Councilor Costi, Councilor Ward, Councilor Sherman, Councilor Kerwood, and Councilor Lothrop, Councilor Tyre, although at that point in time it may have been City Clerk Tyre.
And now we're looking at Congressman John Olver that joined us in 2008 also.
Congressman Olver joined us for almost every parade, and he was a giant figure hovering over all of the parade attendees that were up and down the parade route.
We're also joined by Governor Deval Patrick. He was very present in the parades.
Governor Patrick made it for all 8 years of our parades. Also seen there is Mayor James Roberto shaking hands with the dignitaries that are on the reviewing stand. There is members of the City Council, Councilor Mazzio, Councilor Nichols, Councilor Costi, Councilor Lothrop, Councilor Ward, I believe City Clerk Tyre, Councilor Capitano, Council President Jerry Lee, Councilor Yan, and Councilor Kroll. In 2012, we were joined by State Representative Tricia Farley-Bouvier, State Representative Paul Mark, and State Representative Smitty Pignatelli, along with State Auditor Suzanne Bump. Representative Farley-Bouvier represents Pittsfield, and Representative Paul Mark is a small portion of Pittsfield, and Smitty Pignatelli is in South County.
Also in 2012, we had Sheriff Tommy Bowler that joined us, and here he is with probably quite a few of his employees and
Deputy sheriffs.
Yeah.
Sheriff Bowler hasn't missed a parade since he's been the sheriff, and he shows up every year with a large contingency of vehicles. 2013, you see Mayor Bianchi, Councilor Simonelli, Councilor Cano, Councilor Lothrop, Councilor Cotton, Councilor Morandi, Councilor Yan, Councilor Mazzio, Councilor Sherman, Councilor Lothrop, if I didn't mention him, and behind them are also members of the school committee. And there's City Clerk Tyre as well. And Mayor Bianchi's joined by his wife, Teresa, and the governor, every year that he was here, generally chose to march with the mayor instead of marching on his own.
And also in 2013, we have U.S. Congressman Richie Neal.
Congressman Neal has joined us for a good number of parades, and Trying to get elected officials to join us in the parade is somewhat complicated, and thanks to our good friend Jean Delia to help us. There you see the 2019 City Council and Mayor. You see Councilor Morandi, Councilor Simonelli.
You're in there
Barry
somewhere.
Claremont. There I am in the background. Councilor Musso, Councilor Cano, Councilor Kakamo, Councilor Tully, City Clerk Jody Phillips. Well, I thought it was Jody Phillips, and City Clerk Benjamin. Councilor Persip, Councilor Moon, Councilors Mazzio and Cano. Following them are members of the school committee, school committee chairperson Catherine Yan, school committee members Josh Cutler and Tony Riello.
And there we're seeing
Congressman Neal again, and you always can see into the background. Off to the left of your screen, our good friend Jean Delia that has helped us get the federal delegations whenever we could. Also there you see our state delegation, Senator Adam Hines to the far left of your screen, State Representative Tricia Farley-Bouvier to the far right. Next to Representative Farley-Bouvier is Representative Paul Mark, and next to Representative Mark is Representative Spinny Pignatelli. Our state delegation joins us almost every year to march in the 4th of July parade.
And behind them we have for 2019 is District Attorney Andrea Harrington. And she brought along her co-workers to join her.
A good number of staff members from the Berkshire County District Attorney's Office joining her in the march. And I believe this was District Attorney Harrington's first year marching in our 4th of July parade.
And to end it with 2019, we have once again Sheriff Tommy Bowler, and with his in his nice top hat that he was. I remember that day he said it was so hot he was dying in that hat, but he was glad to wear it.
And that's something that you would normally see him wearing as he kicks off the graduations for Williams College and North Adams State College. Sheriff Bowler brings with him a good number of vehicles, and almost every year he brings the Sheriff's Department color guard with him as well. And that was a look back on elected officials.
Hi, this is Josh, and this is my 4-month-old son, James, and the 4th of July parade has always meant a lot to me because it was always like a family reunion. I would get to see my aunts and my uncles and my cousins at the 4th of July every year. We always sit together at the same spot at the bottom of Lenox Avenue and Wacona Street, and we watch all the floats and balloons and bands, and that's always been a wonderful thing. And I've also been able to participate in a number of parades. First when I was in high school with Ron Lively and the Pittsfield High Marching Band for 4 years, and then over the last 6 years with the Pittsfield School Committee I had a chance to participate. So I'm sad that there's going to be no parade this year, but I'm looking forward to watching this program, and I'm hoping that next year I'll be able to take James to his first parade and have another family reunion at the bottom of Lenox Avenue and Wacona Street and get to see all of our friends and family and our city of Pittsfield on the 4th. Happy 4th of July.
Hi, I'm Becky Manship, and I've been on the parade committee since 2008, and I've been the float committee or the float subcommittee chair for the past 5 years at least, and have a lot of fun being on Float Street on parade morning.
Hi, I'm Pete White, and I've been working with the Pittsfield Parade Committee as a member for about the last 16 years now, and mostly on Float Street in the morning, and always love getting up early, getting a first peek at the floats, and now we're going to share with you getting to see some of the floats over the years go down the street. So let's take a stroll down memory lane with view of the floats.
And here we have, from 1992, the NASA shuttle float from the Pittsfield Elks. And isn't this remarkable? It really looks like a real shuttle.
Yeah, it's a great float. It was a rainy day and it still held up, and so many people along the parade route still enjoying it. And then we have the Unico LP Adams train float coming down with the iconic LP Adams train that we see at their location up in Dalton. And just who doesn't love seeing a train go down the road?
That one was a lot of fun. And next up we have the 1998 Boy Scouts float, and it looks like another hot one, and it looks like they had a lot of fun with their climbing wall turned into a waterfall.
Yeah, and it's always good to see the youth of the area getting involved in the 4th of July parade. And then we have the Berkshire Stonewall Community Coalition float, remembering disco. Looks like they're dancing to YMCA there at the moment, and having a lot of fun dancing down the parade route, making sure everyone is enjoying their time.
And here we have the Berkshire Museum float from 2010 celebrating their Festival of Trees. So there's a relative of Wally and a lot of the trees that we get to see during that time.
And then we have the 2004 Sheeptacular float with the smaller sheep than what were put all over town. I believe these sheep were decorated by students or painted by students. And starting off the Arts Renaissance in Pittsfield.
Yeah, that was the beginning of Artscape, the public art committee. So the Pittsfield Piston Poppers from 2008 celebrating the Flintstones, and that's very creative. And that was my first parade, and I don't remember that one. So that's definitely a fun trip down memory lane for me.
Well, with the Piston Poppers, they're always a great addition to the parade. And then we have the 2010 We the People float with a really intricate balloon dragon that looks like it takes a lot of people to get it down the float straight, and it looks like, you know, people are having fun with it, I'm sure. Kids love balloons and floats, so when you put the two together, it's just a great combo.
No-brainer. So next up, we have the people-powered Petal float from Adams from 2016. And this is such a unique float because these people are truly the ones making it go down the street with their pedaling. So this was definitely fun to see.
Yeah, and then we have the North Adams Fire Department from 2017. And on a hot day, there's nothing better than a float that squirts water, and, you know, maybe you're lucky enough to, in the crowd to be able to get cooled off.
So next up, we have the USV-2 Bay State Submarines float, and these guys are in the parade every year. They're regulars. We love to see them come back every year because it celebrates our submarine veterans.
Yeah, and definitely, they always fit in with the parade theme too. And then we've got in 2018 the General Dynamics float that won second place, another float that sprayed water to the crowd, and, you know, great having General Dynamics here in Pittsfield. Which vehicle is this?
This is the Littoral Combat Ship. Next up is the First Baptist Church float from 1996. And it looks like they definitely won an award for this. And look at that intricate design of the church. So that looks like they did a lot of volunteer hours for that float, for sure.
It's great when community groups get involved in churches. And then we have the 2012 entry of the Friends of the Marians, celebrating our heroes. And since it was 2012, coming up right after the events of 2011, 9/11, and celebrating those who, you know, heroically went into action that day.
And next up, we have the St. Mark's Church float from 2012 doing Sister Act. And look at the intricate design on this with the church, and then they have the nuns singing and dancing.
Beautiful float mixing art and music, and Sister Act is, you know, such a great movie play. It's great seeing it in the parade. And then we've got the the Oldies float Stargazer, mission accomplished, from 2007. And the Oldies always have great entries, as we'll see a few coming up. And with these floats that kind of have bigger wingspans, it's always amazing to see them put together on parade morning.
So this one is, as Pete mentioned, another Oldies float from 2009, a 57 Chevy. Look at this. They're having such a great time. It's such a great float, and again, intricate design. And these guys always know how to have a great time and also make sure we have a good time with them.
And with the 2010 Flowerpower Float from the Oldies But Goodies, you know, I am always amazed at how good they sound, whether it's a fundraiser or if it's just going down the parade route. We're so lucky to have these talented people giving back in our community.
And next up, from 1995, is the Ralph Croyle Senior Center and Grand Ole Opry.
I can remember watching Grand Ole Opry with my parents back in the day, and a great depiction here of country life.
Yes, look at the barn and their get up there. So next is the Ralph. Oop, I stole your thunder.
That's okay.
I'm sorry.
We're here as a team in the Ralph Croyle Senior Center, always with great floats. This one is depicting Norman Rockwell's Four Freedoms paintings. You've got Norman Rockwell there painting along with the rest of those iconic paintings.
And this is from RSVP from 2006. Volunteers Greatest Show on Earth. The Best Theme Award is what they received, and with cause, because look at this circus. It looks like a lot of fun was put into this.
And then up next is another RSVP float, Happy Birthday Pittsfield, in 2011, celebrating Pittsfield's 250th. The 1761 discovery of the baseball document here, first in the nation, and also 40 years, I believe, of RSVP, and different things all over that float that celebrate Pittsfield.
So next up is BCC Children's Circus Camp Float from 1999, the children's favorite toy. Look at that elephant pulling that float. That is just really cool.
A lot of creativity went into putting that whole unit together, and look at the kids probably from the circus camp having fun there. And then we have the 2010 entry of Pittsfield Public Schools, Harry Potter, and a bookworm reading it. And if it showed, they have the pages enlarged on this one, so it could be seen of what the bookworm was reading, and it was actual pages from Harry Potter.
And they definitely won an award for that. The next up is another one from Pittsfield Public Schools from 2011, Education Advancing Through the Years. So you can definitely see the cell phone and the typewriter and then the old school classroom. So they definitely depicted education through the years.
And then you have the Pittsfield Public Schools float from 2012, Wizard of Oz, won Most Outstanding Float, and with the details on there, the characters, you can see why that won an award with everything put into it.
Most definitely. And here we have Carpenters Local 108 from 1999, Building Blocks into the Next Millennium. And they won the Mayor's Award, and they're pretty proud of it. Look at him showing that trophy off. And we are proud of the Carpenters Local because they have continued to stay involved with this parade and also the Halloween parade. So they are a great community organization.
Yeah, and then the Little Rascals float from the year 2000 from the Carpenters. Another great float. You know, I would expect nothing less from the craftsmen involved, you know, in that union, and I'm just amazed. Little Rascals was such a great show.
And then we have another one from Carpenters 108. Look at the little 108 on the dial there. And this is a big boom box with an actual band inside. So this one was a lot of fun, and they won the second prize in 2016 for this. They know how to have a good time.
Yeah, and next up we have Berkshire County Arks float. And this one is, believe it or not, and they've got a wizard there and all kinds of things to make kids believe in magic. Got teddy bears on there and just a great float done by Berkshire County Ark.
And then this one is from 2001 from Berkshire County Ark, Freedom to Dream. And this one has a computer and one of the space.
Yeah, it's so much on it. I wish we had time to rewatch the whole parade for some of these. But then we have another Berkshire County Ark entry in 2004, celebrating a depiction of the Lincoln Monument. And as we know, you can visit the artist who designed that down at Chesterwood in the Berkshires. And so we got local ties with that. And then we go into the next one, which is...
This one is Miller Petroleum with prisoners. And look at this creativity and craftsmanship. They've got the prisoners going down, escaping on the railroad line. And they've got a police car chasing them. So they're having a bunch of fun.
And then 2001 Miller Petroleum, the Wrong Brothers Air Show. And it won Most Outstanding Float. And you know, with the planes flying through the barn on this one, you can see why it's the Wrong Brothers, and you can also see why that they won the Most Outstanding Float that year. Such great detail.
And then next up is Miller Petroleum again with Wacona Park and celebrating the art of the game of baseball. And this one's from 2005. Look at those baseball players, and it just seems like we are there at Wacona Park. You can enter in through that the entrance there.
Yeah, and then we have an entry in 1995 from KB Toys, Children's Music. Children's Music won the grand prize that year, and you can see all kinds of different instruments made on the float. And KB was such a great store while it was around.
And then this is another one with KB Toys called Heavenly Sweets from 1996. And with how hot it is out right now, looking at this ice cream and the ice cream truck makes me really want to have some ice cream.
Yeah, I wish the ice cream truck would come right when we got out of here.
Yes.
And then 1999, KB's Toy put in another entry, Let the Magic Begin. And you've got Barbie and her Barbie's Jeep there, and a lot of other toys that you could buy from our local toy store. You got the Teletubbies, you've got Raggedy Ann and Andy on there, and just a great fun float for the parade.
And this one is another KB Toys from 2006, and this one is actually from their last appearance. And this is Getting to the Circus with Ellie the elephant pulling this vehicle, who was trying to get to the circus, I believe, but Ellie rescued them and saved the day and brought them to the circus. So way to go, Ellie. You look beautiful. Well, that's it, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us on this trip down memory lane for the floats. We hope you enjoyed it, and have a good 4th.
All right, have a happy 4th.
Hey, all you cool cats and kittens. It's Bob Heck here telling you what the 4th of July parade means to me. My very first air shift on the radio was on July 4th, 2003. And that was because Joanne and Steve, who did the morning show at the time on Live 105.5, had to be in the parade. So they needed somebody, and I was the newbie. So I got to go in and do an air shift on July 4th, 2003. So thanks to the 4th of July parade, I was able to get my radio career started. And then I was fortunate enough over the next 10 years to be in the parade with the radio stations, including several years where I was fortunate enough to photobomb Larry Kraka at the reviewing stand on PCTV. But I think my favorite 4th of July story was from 2017. We kind of made the last minute decision to go to the parade. So we got up, we got dressed, we ran down to the parade, and we got there, and my kids say to me, my youngest Ashley says, "Daddy, I'm hungry." And then my oldest Kendall says, "Yeah, Daddy, I'm hungry too." And that's when I realized, crap, I didn't give them breakfast. So I'm looking around for food, and all I see is an ice cream stand across the street. And we talk about that every year. Every 4th of July it comes up, and one of them says, "Hey, Daddy, remember when we had ice cream for breakfast during the parade that year?" It seems like each and every year the 4th of July parade brings me, there's one tangible memory that I can pull out of every year. And this year, with there being no parade, for me, this program and all the work that went into this program has given me a great memory of this July 4th as well. And I hope this program gives you and your family a great memory of July 4th that you'll always remember and be able to look back on. So that's it for me. Peace out. Enjoy the rest of the show.
Hi, in this segment, we're going to take a look at the Grand Marshals over the last 30 years. The two toughest things that we do is picking a Grand Marshal and a theme for the parade.
Absolutely.
The theme is a hard part because everybody has their ideas, and Grand Marshal, there's a lot of great ideas. And I'm joined by Kenny Wheeler, who's the longest serving parade committee member that we have. So let's take a look at some of our Grand Marshals over the last 30 years. Starting out in 1988, we have the Reverend Will Durant. Reverend Durant was an inspiration to many in Pittsfield. He was always there to lend a hand and to offer advice. And he was one of two people over the last 30 years that had the honor of being Grand Marshal twice. In 1992, we were honored to have two Olympic skiers from Berkshire County join us in the parade, both Kim and Krista Schminiger. And I probably butchered her name, but they were with us right after their Olympic tryouts.
In '94, we had Richard Clemens, Linda Gunn, and Polly Pierce. And these are from the Rockwell Museum. Richard Clemens, if we recall, he was the trooper that was the person...
in his portrait. Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yep. And in 1995, we had Edward Bates and John Prendergast. John Prendergast was a long-standing member of the parade committee who has gone before us, but he was there on a regular basis with his cane to beat us,
yes,
to tell us what we should and shouldn't
Absolutely.
do. And we miss John immensely.
And this is David Grover. Everybody knows David Grover for all his wonderful things he does in the community with our youth, and always having his sing-alongs and everything else. And the person actually interviewing him is Jim Brassard, who was our also a departed parade committee member, he was served as coordinator for many years also.
1998, we had Guy and Mary Pellegrinelli, longtime parade committee members. Mary was the one who worked quietly behind the scenes to get things done, and her husband, Guy, was the guy with the mouthpiece as we left off the parade going, do, here we come.
Yeah, he always had a bullhorn in his hand, and we tried to take it away from him. Mayor Jerry Doyle and Tom Hickey, they were instrumental in resolving the PCB issues with GE. They were the ones that got the agreement signed. So we recognize them that year for all their hard work.
And in 2000, we were joined by the CEO of, at that point in time, Berkshire County Savings Bank, or Berkshire Bank, as we know it today. Mr. Wells was a great supporter of the parade, both personally and through the Berkshire Bank Foundation.
Here's the Miller family. The Miller family was instrumental in getting the Colonial Theater off from the start. I mean, they kept that building open for years, did the best they could to maintain it, and did a lot of things to get that Colonial Theater started.
In 2002, we were joined by Father Peter Gregory from St. Charles Church. Father Peter would pray for us all the time. He was also, in a future year, named as the Honorary Grand Marshal. And each year when we do the Oldies but Goodies show, Father Peter gives us a blessing and tells us to break a leg on stage. So he's been a great advocate of the parade over the years. 2005, we were joined by Dan Dillon, who was the Executive Director of Berkshire United Way. Dan was a great advocate for Berkshire United Way and many organizations in the community, and many of the organizations could be seen following him in the parade.
And there's Reverend Durant and his wife again. Second time as being the Grand Marshal. Very good honor for him. And again, a wonderful person. did a lot of wonderful things for the community, with the Christian Center and everything else. Always was willing to help us, and wonderful man.
In 2007, we had the honor of bringing back Stephanie Wilson, longtime Pittsfield resident, graduate of Taconic High School, who actually was flying in space as an astronaut. She did a lot of great community events when she was here for that trip, and we did a dedication at Stern School where she had attended.
And there's David Grover again. Once again, another person that's just a wonderful person in the community, does just so much for the youth and the younger folks of the community, and again, all around great guy.
In 2009, we had the honor of having the Pittsfield Downtown Inc. Executive Director as our Grand Marshal. Yvonne is no longer with us as she passed several years ago, but Yvonne was very helpful to the parade committee by soliciting businesses and asking for donations on our behalf.
And this is Jackie Quetty. She had just graduated from Pittsfield High School when she was given the honor of being the Grand Marshal. She's the daughter of Russ Quetty, who was a longtime Pittsfield police officer, and she was a very inspirational person in the community.
In 2011, the parade committee chose the chair people of the 250th Happy Birthday Pittsfield Committee, Mary Rentz and Kit Deval. They, along with the committee behind them, that was the honorary Grand Marshals, were very instrumental in helping with the 250th celebration. 2012, we recognized all the theaters in Pittsfield. We recognized the Beacon Cinema for their movies, Barrington Stage and Colonial Theater for their shows, and the Berkshire Museum for the little cinema and the movies they show there. We were also surprised the day before with the appearance of Dr. Ruth.
The Mary O'Brien, she was the former Registered of Deeds. Yep. She had retired. Another person, always a great inspiration to us. She'd come out and kind of give us a pep talk during the parade and everything else, and she always enjoyed the work that we did.
In 2014, we chose Mario DiMartino to be our Grand Marshal. Mario had been working behind the scenes for a good number of years, doing the Bucket Brigade. He would organize the volunteers. He would be at the end of the parade to collect the money. He would take the money home and count it and let us all bring it back to us when we were done.
And there's Lillian Quinn. She was a former instructor at St. Joe High School, was there for many, many, many years. Very likable, all her students loved her.
2016, we chose one of Pittsfield's longest or oldest veterans, Tony Pastore. Anyone that's ever been to a veterans ceremony in Pittsfield, you would know Tony, because he is the one who sang the national anthem loud and proud.
And there's Officer Darren Derby of the Pittsfield Police Department. We chose him just because all of the work he's done for the community with his popsicle and his basketball hoops, and for the youth and for the everybody in the community.
And last year he joined us on stage for the Oldies But Goodies show as a special guest. In 2018, it was a pretty sad year for the parade committee. We wanted to recognize Lieutenant Michael Winston, who had passed away the year prior. Lieutenant Winston was very vital in all of our safety planning for the parade. He was there for us at 5:30 in the morning, doing everything that he could do to help out the parade.
And here's retired Fire Chief Robert Sawinski. He actually didn't want to be the Grand Marshal if he couldn't be with all his men. So it's basically him and the Pittsfield Fire Department. Another great person in the community, always willing to help a hand, and whenever you needed something, he would make it happen for us.
And we talked about the doubles today of the two people that marched or were Grand Marshals. Chief Chewinski and Darren Derby were the only two people that I can recall that refused at first to be Grand Marshals. We hope you enjoyed the look back of the Grand Marshals over the last 30 years.
Support for PCTV's virtual 4th of July coverage comes from Berkshire Bank, where all wallets are welcome, proudly supporting the 4th of July parade. Life is exciting. Let us help. Member FDIC. Car Hardware. Always here for our community since 1928. Online at carhardware.com. The Berkshire United Way. Here for good. Online at berkshireunitedway.org. Berkshire Property Managers. Experienced, reliable, local. 413-499-5905 and online at berkshirepropertymanagers.org. And Greylock Federal Credit Union. Opportunity grows here. Online at greylock.org.
Hello, Pittsfield. Happy 4th of July. This is Ann and John Ruggieri, and we are here to wish everybody a happy 4th of July. We also want to talk to you about all the involvement that our family has had with the 4th of July parade through the years. My father was transferred to Pittsfield in 1978, Nick Ruggieri. My mother Margie, my brother John, and I came in 79. Whenever possible, we went to the 4th of July parade. Eventually, my father became a civitan, then my mother, and then myself. We were very active with working with the 4th of July parade, and in fact, when the parade route was moved down First Street, my father and mother were instrumental and did all the organizing for the picnic on the Common. And here's a picture of them in their later years. And there's a picture of them in their civitan outfit. But this happened to be over at the Tally Ho for a Special Olympics. But picnic on the Common, people would recognize my parents in that outfit. Okay, John, right here, in a former 4th of July parade t-shirt at last year's fundraiser for the parade, was one of the Grand Marshals when the Pittsfield 4th of July parade honored Olympians. Okay? And we wanted to tell everyone happy 4th of July from the Ruggieri family. Have a great 4th. Be healthy. Be safe. What do you think, Johnny? Yes. Take care, everyone.
Hi, I'm Pat Kelly. I've been involved with the Pittsfield Parade for now some 33 years. I started in 1987, and I've been involved in various capacities, including announcer from the reviewing stand, and in the last 7 years as co-host of the TV broadcast on Pittsfield Community Television.
Okay, and I'm Real. I was involved a lot for the last 20 years in Pittsfield with different organizations, mostly with Kiwanis Club of Pittsfield. I'm just new and the newcomer with the Pittsfield Parade, and we're going to try to do something good this morning.
One of the things that's been a staple of the Pittsfield Parade, as it's been a staple of Pittsfield over many years, is baseball. This is a view of the Pittsfield Mets from the late 1980s. A very good team, a minor league team of course, the New York Mets. And one of many minor league teams that's been supported by Pittsfield and Berkshire County. Youth hockey, always a big thing. These kids get up early in the morning with their parents, by the way, like I'm saying 4 o'clock in the morning, to go to the boys club to practice their skating and practice their strategies. And here they're seen in rollerblades to get themselves, here's the women's roller skating team, in fact. The boys were wearing rollerblades as well, just to continue the motion of skating. It's a similar type of skating. Again, baseball, the Pittsfield Colonials, which is a collegiate team that's an independent baseball team, not involved with Major League Baseball. But again, a favorite of Pittsfield and Berkshire County and surrounding communities, because it's baseball and it's a summertime activity, and it's a chance to get out and to be with friends and just enjoy a nice baseball game. We've had so many teams over the years in Pittsfield. The Red Sox back in the 1960s. We've had the Senators franchise represented, the Houston Astros, all in Pittsfield. Here's a volleyball, using ultra-sized volleyballs to practice with and have fun with the fans. Truly Independent Wrestling, which was at the Berkshire Mall for a number of years until the mall unfortunately closed, but they're still active in Pittsfield. And again, professional wrestling here in Pittsfield.
You're good. You're doing good. Let you go.
This is the Berkshire General Store, also carrying Pittsfield baseball players, the Pittsfield Suns, aptly named because of the fact that the sun sets in center field at around 7 o'clock every night, forcing the games to be halted for about a half hour,
Yeah, that's not
so
easy.
that the batters can see what's going on from the pitcher. Pittsfield Soccer Club, you see there. Lots and lots of athletes have marched the Pittsfield Parade over the years. You could say hundreds of thousands, I would easily guess, just because of the sizes of the teams. And here's Berkshire Force, which is girls softball, which has hosted, in fact, national competitions here in Pittsfield at the Doyle Complex on Benedict Road. And Pittsfield has actually had very good teams in those competitions. Antique cars. We've had these year after year. This is one of those giant cars that's in every parade. It's been in every parade. I can't think of the exact name of it, but it's truly a sight to behold. This is a winner, obviously, holding the trophy, and an antique car as well. Looks like a Chevy to me. What would you say? It is a Chevy. Look at that. I was going to ask you, Real, but it is a Chevy. You can see by the emblem.
Probably 1950, 60.
Yeah, late 50s with the fins on the back.
Yeah.
Motorcycles.
Have
Those mean machines.
Did you drive motorcycle?
I have only ridden a moped, and that was in Greece many years ago on the island of Corfu. This is O'Connell Oil. They sponsor a race car at Lebanon Racetrack, and they're always, the racetrack is always represented in the Pittsfield 4th of July Parade. This is the Berkshire County 4-H Club. Outdoor activity, always a big promotion of 4-H. The tractor symbolizing the work on the farm.
Yeah, because it's a lot of farm in the Berkshire.
It's a lot of farming.
It's a lot of farm.
And they're located, in fact, off of Holmes Road, where there's a wide open field. This is the ATVs, more cycles, more outdoor enthusiasts that like to take to the woods of the Berkshires, and of those we have many. A Coca-Cola delivery truck. This looks like something that was made for the year 2000, don't you think? Maybe 2020?
Probably.
Maybe a bit sooner. Maybe just a bit sooner. Coca-Cola's been around for a very long time. And there's a sponsor, long-time sponsor and provider in Berkshire County, Bushy's Pool City. One of our only few pool suppliers in Berkshire County. Cheerleading. What is football without cheerleaders? Even on the professional level, there are the cheerleaders. They do such a great job. They're more like gymnasts. They're more athletes than they are the old-fashioned.
Some of them are really good.
Just watch this, and you'll see. They're dancers. They're very well choreographed. In unison, step by step, move by move. And look at this. If that isn't athletic, you've got to redefine the word to me.
Look, those three.
Yep.
They stand there for a long time.
And look at the people holding them.
Yeah.
No small task. And the cheerleaders, of course, are always a part of the parade. We're talking about community groups here today, if you haven't guessed. It's the different organizations and institutions of Berkshire County that that provide the support that we need. In this case, the athletic support. This is Taekwondo.
Taekwondo, yes, a lot of them in Pittsfield.
Martial arts.
Yeah.
Taekwondo is a Korean martial art. The art of hand and foot is what it actually means. Looks like some young black belts there. Black belt being the highest level of the ranking of the support. Youth Alive, a dance group. There, as far back as I can remember, Youth Alive has been a part of the Pittsfield Parade. They have their own instruments. They do a wonderful job of choreography and dance. Very proud, as you can see. Heads up. Gym Fest of the Berkshires. More gymnastics.
And every year it's a lot of people who watch the parade. Look at that. On both sides.
Estimates are between 50 and 70 to 75,000 yearly watch the parade just from the street itself. Not even counting the people in their apartments over the street, or the people watching on TV, on Pittsfield Community TV, or on the live streaming on pittsfieldtv.org. Unicycles, I could never, ever imagine doing that.
I cannot do that.
I do ride a bicycle, but bi is the key part of that word. Yeah. It's two wheels.
Two wheels.
But one wheel, I just can't imagine doing it. So it's quite a talent. And again, here the word choreography comes in. Support groups, again, the American Red Cross, where would we be without them? Providing necessary finding the blood, supplying the blood, and supplying the support. Here's the Berkshire United Way, an organization of some 40 support groups in Berkshire County, supporting all of Berkshire County, and being supported by all of the workers of Berkshire County through paycheck and however they can support it.
And they help a lot at this moment too, with the food for the kids.
Oh, in so many ways.
Oh, yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Here's the Native American. Well, this gets into the ethnicity of Berkshire County, the Latino organization.
They are cute, those kids. And the music, it's amazing.
I can't imagine kids that aren't.
No, but the music, it's amazing too.
There's the what appears to be the Knights of Columbus, which always marches in a cross, in the form of a cross. Did you ever notice that?
Because it's a Catholic organization, and it's a good one. They help a lot of people too.
They do support many people, and you're right, they are closely involved with the Catholic churches of Berkshire County. This is African Americans. Again, multi-ethnic communities here in the Berkshires. Capitol Steps. I just watched them for the first time a few years ago. Very funny, very political. If you have any sensitivities politically, you may not want to go to see Capitol Steps. But I think the mixture of the crowd when I went to see was quite broad. Here's Norman Rockwell painting himself. Of course, this is not really Norman Rockwell, but a man who does look an awful lot like him. Norman Rockwell, of course, the illustrator for many years and lived in Stockbridge here in the Berkshires. Berkshire Museum, a staple in downtown Pittsfield.
A lot of color there, all colorful.
Butterflies.
Yeah.
The Berkshire Community Action Council, which supplies needed foods for the poor of Berkshire County, people who are in need. Looks like a lot of Gumbies there. This looks like, it's hard to say. Is that a lion or is that a bear?
This is the
Smokey the Bear.
Lion, because it's the lion eye mobile.
Aha! There you go. Thank you, Rial.
I know those group.
The Down Syndrome family group of Berkshire County Ark. Ark has been around. It was called BARC for many years. It started out as Berkshire County Association for Retarded Citizens, but then woke up to the needs of many people. This is Miss Cookie Crumple, who can scare you. She's got her own
Security.
Secret Service
Yes.
that accompany her, as is necessary for a woman of that ilk.
This is the first year we did the Park of Honor. The flags on Park Square.
Aha! Where, when you go by, when that happens, when is that going to happen again?
It's supposed to be in October, end of October, for the month of November. That's when we do
Okay.
that.
Where you see hundreds of flags.
Hundreds of flags.
This is the Dream Center, Morningside Baptist Church, the Berkshire Book Bike. The Berkshire Athenaeum took this on a few years ago as a way to greet people on third Thursdays. There's Alex, the library director, and that's the book bike that takes books to the people instead of the people going to the book, which is even more necessary today. The Hoping Machine, which we all have a little in us. We all have hope. The NAACP, National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, the Berkshire County chapter, representing the African American community in the Berkshires. And that is just a snippet of what we have as community groups in Berkshire County. There's even more.
It's a lot
But
more.
we are, I can say, well supported by our community.
I remember being at my grandmother's house for a picnic and a barbecue for the 4th. And she has fantastic receiving ability from her house up on the hill in Alford to be able to pick up the local PBS affiliate. And it was there that I got my first taste of televised Pittsfield 4th of July parade coverage. It was exciting to see the local community there on the TV. And that moment stayed with me for a very long time and led me to the opportunity and honor to be involved with the PCTV team doing graphics and eventually producing the parade coverage. And even with all of the memories that I've made doing that stuff, the memory of sitting in my grandmother's living room is probably one of the strongest parade moments that I can remember in my life.
Support for PCTV's virtual 4th of July coverage comes from Berkshire Bank, where all wallets are welcome, proudly supporting the 4th of July parade. Life is exciting. Let us help. Member FDIC. Car Hardware, always here for our community since 1928. Online at carhardware.com. The Berkshire United Way, here for good. Online at berkshireunitedway.org. Berkshire Property Managers, experienced, reliable, local. 413-499-5905 and online at berkshirepropertymanagers.org. And Greylock Federal Credit Union. Opportunity grows here. Online at greylock.org.
Hi, I'm Laura, and after 50 years, almost 50 years of enjoying the parade as a spectator, I wanted to get involved and help, so I reached out to Pete Marchetti, who readily put me on the parade committee, and after 1 year of helping out, I'm now co-chairing on the fire street. So we're going to watch some fire departments along with Tanya here.
Hi, I'm Tanya. I was the chair of Fire Truck Street from 2013 through the 2019 parade, along with being the treasurer for the parade committee. Now let's look at some fire trucks. Here we see the Great Barrington Fire Department. They've participated in our parade over the years, and it's always a great time to have them there.
Now we're looking at the New Marlborough Fire Department, which, as we all know, New Marlborough is one of our furthest towns in Berkshire County down at the south there. So for them to travel up is quite a feat for us to enjoy their fire trucks.
Look at that beautiful picture.
That is, yep. We will not tire, we will not falter, we will not fail.
Here we have the Lanesboro Fire Department, led by Chief Charlie Durfee. Charlie, no matter what the weather was, rain, shine, he always had a smile on his face and was always fun to hang out with on Fire Truck Street.
Another big fire truck that they brought with them that day, that's for sure. And that was in dedication to 9/11 there, United We Stand. Here now we're looking at the Mass Division of Forest and Parks.
And Smokey the Bear.
Smokey the Bear. We all remember him, right?
I've always loved Smokey the Bear. I used to call my grandfather Smokey, so you know, he was always my favorite bear growing up.
An important bear, that's for sure.
And here we have the Massachusetts Firefighting Academy. They would participate in the parade a few years back, and it was before I joined the committee.
Yeah,
so.
I'm not too familiar with what they did also, but now we have the 1915 restored Seagraves fire truck. It was owned by Jim Schulman, who's very important in the city of Pittsfield and has done a lot, and it was brought to Taconic High School.
Yes.
And with the help of John Amuso, was restored to be the way it was.
Yes. The 4th of July parade brings out a lot of classic fire trucks. There's a lot of... Oh, and here we have Smokey Stover. This was one of me and my sister's favorite things when we were a little kid. We would stand there on the side of the road and just beg them to squirt you with their little hose.
Oh, I remember that. I do remember that.
And then cough when the little cloud of smoke came out.
Yeah. And we all remember the Pittsfield Fire Department that is in it every single year, and a lot of the sports teams ride on top of that.
Yes. Here we have the Unico fire truck. Unico is a great group of volunteers, from putting in fire trucks to also helping us out immensely on parade day, carrying balloons and doing whatever we needed.
Yep. And in the community all year long. Yes. Do a lot of fundraising, a lot of dinners, a lot of community.
And here we see there was a World Series team on their truck. It looked like 2008. Now here we have a privately owned fire truck. Mike Newguy, member of Berkshire SPAMPA, which is the Society for Preserving Antique Fire Apparatus. They've been great over the years, putting in various trucks. My favorites were always the yellow ones.
I remember the yellow ones.
Until
yeah.
my son's 11-year-old team rode on a truck.
Nice.
Here we have the Lennox Pickle.
Oh, yeah.
They're wearing a hat.
There he goes, yep. Leapfrogging. Dangerous. Dangerous
Not
to
quite,
the hats.
Not
yeah.
quite the cartwiels we're going to see later on, but leapfrogging was always fun with the crowd.
They're getting there. They're catching up to Dalton.
Yes.
Yeah. But that's a nice turnout from the Lennox Fire Department, who is always there in case Pittsfield needs them. You know, especially on parade day. You know, they have to cover for each other. So.
Or mutual aid whenever we need it.
That's right.
That's back when Park Square, you could actually go around it.
That's right, and the reviewing stand was different. That's right, I remember that. The cameras were in front of Bank Row, in front of the probate court registry of deeds instead, and the reviewing stand was on the circle. And I think they do it one more time here, or they already did maybe. Oh, right there
Here it goes.
Yep.
Success.
Yeah. Held on that time to the hats.
Yes. Here we have the Cheshire Volunteer Fire Department with a nice classic fire truck. Kind of reminds you of the fire truck signs that are near fire stations with the open cabs.
Yes, yep. Those are nice, yep. All doled out for the 4th of July. Pressure trumps, the trucks, there's so many trucks that you have to learn. The ladder trucks, pumper trucks.
Tower trucks.
Yep. There's one of their bigger ones.
And this guy here is also with the Cheshire Fire Department. The year he was on the street, I turned around and he was tall enough to be peeking in windows. It was funny. The little kids didn't know quite what to make of him.
Yeah, I was just going to say, he's a little hesitant there to go up to him.
Now here we have the Cummington fire truck. They had their truck painted to honor the memory of 9/11. It's a beautiful display.
It is. Beautiful artwork, beautiful tribute.
Honor to have their truck in the parade every year.
Look at that. That really is, that is a beautiful mural on the side of their truck there. That's for sure.
And here we have Smokey the Bear again.
Yep.
You can always count on Smokey, even if it's a 100-degree day. One year they actually had hoses going into his bear suit to put water through to try to cool him off.
Keep him cool, yep.
Yeah.
You need that on a lot of days, yeah. Oh, I'm sorry, now we have the Bissellville Muster Team.
They have a truck dedicated to Desert Storm and also one for cancer awareness.
Very nice, yep. Fire departments, they're always doing something for us and always giving back to the community, that's for sure.
Here we have the Hinsdale Fire Department. This particular year, Chief Larry Turner was retiring, and the new chief, Ralph Cormier, they stopped in front of the reviewing stand to pass the torch.
Nice. Very nice.
This is their rehab unit. They'll send that to Pittsfield if they need it.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Here we have Richmond. Richmond, one of our neighbors to the south.
Yes. Just below here, just below us, a little bit below Pittsfield, below Lenox.
They enjoy participating in the parade.
Volunteer fire department, but they are very they're fully loaded, ready to tackle any emergency that they need to. That's for sure.
Here we have Chief Zerwinski from the Pittsfield Fire Department. In 2019, that was his last year being the chief. He retired shortly after the parade, so he was also the Grand Marshal that year to thank him for his years of service to Pittsfield.
He deserved it. Yes. Very good chief, and my understanding is he insisted on walking with his unit that day.
Exactly. He
even
didn't
though
want to
was
be
the Grand
singled out
Marshal.
as the Grand Marshal.
Yeah, exactly. Very nice. Yeah, quite a unit there. A number of firefighters in the city of Pittsfield. All their equipment.
There's an engine and a tower.
Yep. And a sports team on top. It appears to be, or family
That
and
looks
friends
more
maybe.
families.
Yep, family and friends, it looks like.
But sports teams have ridden on top of Tower 1, Truck 2.
And so
I even
far-
climbed up there one year.
Oh, did you?
My son tried to help me one year too, and next thing you know, as I was sending out Tower 1, he was gone. Here we have Alert Host Company.
They're one of my favorite ones.
The old-fashioned fire truck that you pull. They
Yep.
always have
The
a happy
hand-drawn
child
cart.
riding on top of it.
Yeah, and the uniforms that they picked out in, I believe it was 1893, they switched to those, at that time used those uniforms, the buff color there.
And those uniforms
My
are made out of
favorite
wool,
ones.
so they're very, very hot.
For firefighting or marching.
Yes.
Or marching on the 4th of July. Because as we can see, it's been a beautiful day on every clip here, so.
And when you line up the streets hours before the parades start, you know, they don't want to get dressed up too soon.
Overheat before the parade even starts.
Now here we have Dalton. As you can see, this is an older footage, but they're still going to do their signature cartwheels.
Be interesting to find out when they started that.
Yes.
What year they did actually end up starting.
As you can
doing
see, the
front
camera
cartwheels.
here was down by where Amart and Car Hardware are. So then the parade moved up, and now here's another scene, still doing the cartwheels. And to this day, they're still doing their
They
cartwheels.
still do. They're getting very good at them, yes. Everyone loves to see them come along. You hear the crowd shouting, yes, do the cartwheel, do the cartwheel. Oh, 4 at a time.
Synchronized. I can't do the splits like that.
I can't either.
I'm amazed at how their hats don't come off when they do the
I
cartwheels.
know, I wondered that also. They must have a band inside, huh? Tighten them on their head. Every year. They never fail. To thrill the crowd with what they do. It is a shame that we won't be seeing any of the fire departments this year.
That's
But
true.
hopefully next year we'll be back.
Yes.
On track with having another 4th of July parade that Pittsfield is very well known for and which everyone loves. And I think everyone's going to miss it this year.
And here's the Dalton Tower truck with it appears to be Wacona players on top of it.
Coach there.
That was a great walk down memory lane for me with all the fire trucks.
Yeah. Well, we're going to miss you.
Well, thank you.
And I hope I do a good job on Fire Street. I hope I live up to what you did for us, Tanya. Thank you.
You're welcome. You can always call me.
Thank you.
What does the 4th of July parade mean to me? Well, the 4th of July parade, the parade itself, has meant a lot of things over a period of years. It's been an evolution. As a child, it was a great fun event to be at. There were balloons, bright colors, impressive uniforms, synchronized marching, loud bands that I loved, the bass, drum, and the clash of the cymbals, and the brass, and the very patriotic songs that I all learned. And it was, for me as a child, the tin swords and the other things the vendors sold along the street. I was brought there by my family, and my family it often included aunts and uncles and cousins. And it was a big family event. So it meant a lot in terms of a celebration and a party. And at the time I was young, a big red fire truck meant a lot of things to me to see, and it made me very happy. I especially liked the fifes and drums and the colonial outfits that the parade people wore from different marching bands. And then the funny clowns, of course, and the funny cars. And then the Revolutionary soldiers dressed up with their muskets, and they would fire occasionally, which were really loud. But I enjoyed every minute of it. And while I was in high school, there was a thing going on over in another country that showed some countries were not living as free as we were, and that was Vietnam. So when I had understood some of the rights of being able to have freedom of speech and being able to have the pride I did have in what America's ideals were, I joined the military out of college, even though in college I was protesting what I thought was a not popular war that a lot of people shared. But I also believed in America, and I believed in my duty and commitment to the United States. I was in the position to become a board member of Pittsfield Community Television, and in so I saw the opportunity to give back to community and to give back to the elders that I had who would no longer be able to attend the parade, and saw it as a duty and a commitment to provide the coverage of the parade over many years. That was sort of giving back and paying forward to the great feelings that I had about my country and about duty to family and the community.
So let's take a look back over the years for our special guests and celebrities. Each year we are joined by the Shriners. The Shriners join us every year. In 1996, we were joined by Miss Massachusetts USA, Lori Flick, being interviewed by former Parade Committee Director Jim Brassard. We have a long-standing history of having Miss Massachusetts in the 4th of July Parade.
This, Peter, is 1998, which is also Miss Massachusetts, but it's Elizabeth Emerson Hancock. She came to, she was the one in 1998.
And it's a growing thought, and one of the interesting things about doing these flashbacks is looking at all of the different routes that the parade committee took.
Yeah.
In 1999, we had Miss Massachusetts USA, April Tebow, and this is one of the years that we were going around Park Square, and you can see the old Berkshire Bank building there, and some of the other segments that you've seen show the parade going in the opposite direction when the parade used to go down First Street, as well as around Park Square to North Street, and some of the footage that you've seen is right down North Street.
We're jumping ahead to 2007. This is Miss Wheelchair America, 2007, Autumn Grant. I couldn't imagine doing that whole parade in a wheelchair.
I couldn't either, but one of her things is advocacy for independence, and so I think nothing says it better than marching a 1.5 mile parade route to show that you have the stamina and stuff to make it. In 2018, we were joined by Junior Miss Massachusetts American Diamond, Alyssa Mara. She comes to us all the way from our neighboring town of Dalton, Massachusetts, and she is being driven by Cornelius Fitzpatrick from the Wretched Mess Garage.
2011, we had the Babe Ruth state champs. They were actually the state champs for 2010, but because of the season, we're always a back a year.
Right, and we have quite a few state champions and sports champions, which is great to see and be able to honor. Here in 2015, we have the 2014 Massachusetts State Champions from the Pittsfield South Little League. And they join us every chance they can get as state champions, and we love to be able to honor and recognize them when that happens.
And in 2017, we have the Taconic High School baseball team. They were the Division I state champs.
And followed by them, we also have the Taconic in 2017, the 2016 Division III Western Mass Champ football team. Taconic had a banner year that year. I think I stole that phrase from the footage of the original parade.
Also in 2017, we had the Wacona High School baseball, which was a Division III champs. So I think Berkshire County had a good year that year.
Berkshire County did pretty well. And of course, with all of these, you noticed a few minutes ago that we kind of are a year behind. This year we were able to squeeze all three teams and in the last minute, as they had just recently won their
Yes.
state or Western
Yep.
Mass Championships.
That was one of those add-ins that we
Right.
have to do.
In 2019, we have a first time ever Taconic Braves wrestling team. We're the Division III state champs, and it's my understanding that it is the first time a wrestling team from the Berkshires was able to hold that title of state champs. And we were honored also to, bring them on board. We had a little bit of struggles trying to find them a fire truck to ride on that day, but everything panned out well, and it took a little bit of time, but when there's a will, there's a way, and we at the parade committee have learned over the time frames how to make things happen in a short time.
Pete, what we're looking at here is, I don't know if you remember, that was kind of younger. I remember Michael Vale, Time to Make the Donuts. He, I believe, is from Lenox, isn't he?
I'm not really sure where he's from, but I know he's joined us for a good number of parades, and that slogan of "Time to Make the Donuts" kind of sits into my head.
I think it sits in every household.
Also in 1993, we were joined by Robert Prosky from the TV show Hill Street Blues. Robert Prosky was actually in the Berkshires performing at Berkshire Theater Festival for that time frame. His quote the morning of that parade was, "He's never seen a 4th of July parade quite like the one in Pittsfield," and so I'll take that as a compliment.
We also have in 1993 Brady White. He's the Santa to the Stars.
And Brady White was another person who joined us for a good number of parades over the years. And I always wanted to have a parade theme called Christmas in July and have never been able to get it past the parade committee, but there we go. In 1994, with the national broadcast that happened, we had co-hosts of Dave Mattson from WWLP and Gloria Loring from The Facts of Life, Different Strokes, and One Life to Live. Back in those days, we had both a local and a national broadcast, and the national broadcast brought us some pretty decent co-hosts. And here is Josh from WNYT. He was the local reporter back in 1994. They bring with them their satellite TV truck and to remind us of their presence here in the Berkshires.
So then in 2002, we had the New York Police Department vehicle honoring 9/11.
In 2006, we had the luxury of having Debbie Boone here. I remember when we first announced that Debbie Boone was here, and people were like, "Who's Debbie Boone?" And the only thing I could say is, "Well, you light up my life. Don't you know who Debbie Boone is?"
And here in 2012, we have Dr. Ruth. She was here doing a show with
Barrington Stage.
Barrington Stage, yes.
And Dr. Ruth called on July 3rd and said, I want to be in the parade. I hear you have a parade. And I'll give you one piece of advice. Don't go up to Dr. Ruth and say anything because your face will be beet red following it. Trust me. I can't say what she said to me on TV. In 2014, we were joined by the Irish Idol from Ireland, Liam Geddes. Liam Geddes has joined us for 2 parades, and he won the Irish Idol back then. Unfortunately for him, he got one of the years that it was pretty rainy.
Yep. And then in 2016, we had Deborah Jo Rupp that joined us.
Deborah Jo Rupp was also doing a local show with Barrington Stage, and we were honored to have her. And there you see Jody Spielman and Pat Kelly announcing and doing a pre-parade interview. It was great to see Deborah Jo Rupp, and again, I'll look back at all of our special guests.
On behalf of Pittsfield Community Television and WTBR-FM, I'd like to thank you for watching today's broadcast. It's been our honor since 1988 to be a part of this Pittsfield tradition, the 4th of July Parade. When PCTV was first envisioned, one of the primary functions that our founders had dreamed about was being able to bring this parade into people's homes as a live television broadcast. In that first year, before we had a studio, a truck, or even any employees, our volunteers packed up every single piece of equipment we owned in cardboard boxes and set it up outside the Berkshire Athenaeum to produce the parade. Well, we've grown as an organization over the years, and our parade coverage has grown with us. As you've seen in this program, the location of our broadcast has moved over the years. Once only seen on cable TV, the program was broadcast nationally on satellite several times and is now streamed worldwide. Equipment in cardboard boxes was replaced by a production truck, HD cameras, a camera crane, and an overhead wireless shot from 7 North Street. But one thing hasn't changed: the dedication of our members and staff and the excitement that this parade brings to our viewers. I'd like to take a moment to thank all of our volunteers and staff who have contributed to our productions over the years. They've been our camera operators, audio technicians, graphic designers, engineers, directors, production assistants, and on-air hosts. They've given of their time on a holiday in all kinds of weather conditions. They've lifted and carried the equipment, set it all up, and packed it all in at the end every year, all to bring our viewers the best experience when they watch the program. We're very proud of our parade coverage, and while we were all disappointed when we heard we wouldn't be setting up for the big shoot on July 4th, we weren't going to let this year go by without our contribution. The programs you are watching today are the result of hours of production work and planning by our talented staff and a big cooperative effort between PCTV and the Pittsfield Parade Committee. We're so lucky to have this partnership with the Parade Committee, without whom this program wouldn't have been possible. So enjoy the rest of the broadcast, and when we are finally able to get back out to Park Square and set up our cameras for the next live parade, we'll be there bright and early, just like we have been for years. Thanks for watching.
Good morning and welcome to the 2020 version of the 4th of July virtual parade. We're going to bring you today some highlights of bands that have been here through the years. My name's Jeff Hunt. I've been involved with the parade since '02 as a music judge and the music chairman and vice president. And it's a pleasure to be here with April White.
Good morning, everybody. I've been on the parade committee for 1 year, and we're going to present you some musical units today.
So here we present the Mummers from 1992, the South Philadelphia String Band.
Coming up next, we have from 1992, the Les Metropolitans Drum and Bugle Corps from Canada.
1992 was a good year. We have the Star of Indiana from Bloomington, Indiana, is one of the bands that used to participate and compete in the precision and pageantry shows at Wacona Park.
Up next, we have the 1995 Lutheran Vanguard Marching Band from Appleton, Wisconsin.
In 1995, we also had the East Coast Jazz from Wrentham, Mass.
In 1995, we also had the Taconic Pipe Band from Petersburg, New York.
Haven't had this band for a while, but they're fantastic. The Cambridge Marching Band from Cambridge, New York.
In 1996, we also had the Spectrum Drum and Bugle Corps from Corning, Oswego, New York.
Back in the day when they used to come around Park Square in 1999, we had the Muchacho Drum Corps from Manchester, New Hampshire.
Next, we have the 1999 Spirit of 76 Fife and Drum, East Greenbush, New York.
Here comes our hometown band, Taconic High School.
In 2004, we had the Jersey Surf Drum Corps from Mount Holly, New Jersey, who also performed back in the day with their precision and pageantry.
In 2007, we had the Top Flight Band, the Air National Guard Band of the Northeast, out of Milford, Mass.
Then in 2008, we present you with the Chocolate Thunder Marching Band from the Capital Region in New York.
Our next two groups aren't marching units, but they're barbershop harmony groups, and they're always looking for more singers. This is the Uncle Sam Chorus from Ballston Lake, New York. And then we got the Racing City Chorus from Saratoga Springs, New York.
And this is your 2017 Pittsfield High School Band from Pittsfield, Mass.
These bands are getting smarter. These have been some pretty hot 4th of Julys. Pittsfield High Band and also the Marksman Drum Corps out of Chicopee, Massachusetts have been coming for years. They used to have very heavy black uniforms, but they sound great.
Coming up next, we have the 2018 Drury High School Band from North Adams, Massachusetts.
From last year's parade, we have the St. Peter's Drum Corps from Torrington, Connecticut.
We have the 2019 Village Volunteer Fife and Drum Corps from Del Mar, New York.
And our closing band today is from 2018, the Sunrisers Drum Corps from Long Island, New York. They were one of the bands who helped us bring back the Drum Corps show for the last 3 years.
I hope you enjoyed the trip down memory lane with several decades of parades. I fully recognize that this does not take the place of a real live parade, but I am hopeful reminiscing through the years brought back great memories. This would not have been possible without the assistance of the great staff at PCTV who worked along our side pulling out old clips so that we could carry a conversation with the treasures that they were able to pull out of their archives. Thank you to all the staff at PCTV for this year and for all the years that they have been great partners with both preserving the memories of the parade and bringing them live to each of you each year. Thank you to all the participants that have marched over the last several decades, and a special thanks to the Oldies but Goodies for all their support and assistance in fundraising. Finally, a big thank you to all businesses and individuals that have supported the parade over the years. Especially last year, when the parade committee asked for additional help, you literally stepped up to the plate and brought us back to a secure financial position. This year has been different than any that we have been through before. I know the parade committee will remain strong, and we will remain committed to a spectacular 4th of July celebration next year. We look forward to 2021 and hope to have your same support. Thank you for watching, and please pray to keep all of our active and retired servicemen and women safe. Enjoy your 4th of July, stay safe and stay healthy, and may God bless the USA.
Support for PCTV's virtual 4th of July coverage comes from Berkshire Bank, where all wallets are welcome, proudly supporting the 4th of July parade. Life is exciting. Let us help. Member FDIC. Car Hardware, always here for our community since 1928. Online at carhardware.com. The Berkshire United Way, here for good. Online at berkshireunitedway.org. Berkshire Property Managers, experienced, reliable, local. 413-499-5905 and online at berkshirepropertymanagers.org. And Greylock Federal Credit Union. Opportunity grows here. Online at greylock.org.